Clearly the two best teams in the 2010 WAFL season have arrived here at grand final day. The minor premier Claremont up against Swan Districts, and Brian Dawson at the helm for the last time at Swans, and what a Midas touch he's had. Business commitments taking him away from the coaching ranks at Bassendean Oval for 2011 and the immediate short term. But so far, in 3 years, he's now tasting his second grand final. But it's a mountainous job today for Swan Districts. They're up against the runaway minor premier, Claremont under Simon McPhee. Well, they won 17, they lost 2, they drew 1. But of major interest today, one of the 2 losses against Swan Districts and the draw also against the black and white men from Bassendean. Thanks for your company today. It is a magnificent day for football and the showcase of the 2010 WAFL season. Well, before we go any further, let's just remind you of some of the players that have rolled out for both the teams this year and some of the highlights on the road to September and finals action for our combatants today, Claremont and Swan Districts.
Ben Colreevy's gone back to the point of the centre square. He was about 30 or 40 metres away from the man on his mark. He runs to 52, but he knew what he was doing. Steers it home. It went through goalpost high, and Swan Districts have hit the front. Great goal by Colreevy. Walton flattened by Ugly Nichols, but he got the hand pass away. Murphy does well to shrug a tackle, directs the ball with the right boot cleverly onto the chest of Chidsey. Into the centre circle he goes. Rudiforth has run from defence. So too Foster. He accepts the ball on the outer wing, onto the chest of Richardson. All of a sudden the Tigers starting to play with a bit of composure. Long kick from Richardson. He's got the most difficult one. He's missed some of the easy ones, but when he's called upon, he kicks his 5th. A brilliant goal, and that's just about going to get Claremont home.
Knocked down from overhead in there by Jetta. Back towards the teammate Roach. High inside, off hands. Jimmy Cracker's son Andrew. Oh, wind the clock back to the 80s. Running in with a flight of the ball, Andrew Cracker stealing it out of mid-air. And he restores Swan District's 1-goal lead.
Spanderman wins the tap. Foster applies the tackle. Neats had it again, but then was dispossessed. Toe poke by Simpson. Roach has it. Gets himself out of trouble brilliantly. Now Roach is clear to kick. Drives it up to the full forward area. No mark taken by Pullman. Oh, good hand pass to Cracker by Gapin. Cracker runs into an open goal, and there's the quick reply. Ross, very close to the man on his mark. Kicked it into the man on his mark. Here's a chance. Still for them in the pocket. Snap by Richardson. That's one of the goals of the game.
Sterling now with it. Goes towards left half forward. Poorly. It'll be a 50-metre penalty. Or will it? No.
That's the most obvious 50, and he's not going to get it.
I thought that would have been penalty number
50.
10.
Yeah, it is.
10th 50-metre penalty, and 7 of them have gone in favour of Claremont. That must be some sort of record. 10 50-metre penalties in a league match. This to make the margin just 1 goal. It's a tight angle, but he is one of the most skilled finishers in the league this season. He has kicked 56 goals, 31. Improves the angle fractionally. High kick across the face. No, he has kicked it. 4th goal to Richardson. The margin is 6 points.
And those last highlights there, the last time and only the second time that Claremont have suffered defeat. It was in round 23. It got East Perth into the top 4. But alas for the Royals, well, they didn't last long enough in finals action to be here today to try and challenge for the premiership. Just a reminder now of how the final series has unfolded thus far. East Perth were able to win the first semi to make it 7 wins in a row. They won down at Shark Park by 14 points, whilst the Tigers easily accounted for Swan Districts by 50 points at Claremont Oval to advance straight to today's grand final. It left us with the preliminary final match-up last week, a terrific crowd of over 11,000 out at Bassendean Oval, and in the end, Swan Districts able to come up with victory to the tune of 38 points to arrive here today. Yesterday, we had the final here at Subiaco Oval of the Colts competition, and it was a pretty one-sided game in the end. East Fremantle powering away to beat Peel Thunder, and the man who won the Winnan medal, Aidan Tropiano from East Fremantle, judged the best of field, while the curtain raiser here today, the Merv McIntosh medal, was won by Lewis Broom in a game that was tight throughout, with the Tigers eventually winning by just 12 points. Well, at half-time today, Rod Willett is going to cast an eye back on the 2010 Sandover Medal. Over the last few years, it's been the traditional opener, the grand final week, the count held on the Monday night. And let's remind you of what happened. And the names at the top, very familiar for long-term followers of the WAFL. Andrew Cracker, 102 games with Richmond, and the son of Jim Cracker, the nephew of Phil, won by 8 votes from Luke Blackwell. He finished with 36 votes, the reigning best and fairest for Claremont. And he, of course, is the son of the current Claremont Colts coach and former premiership player and Carlton premiership player in Wayne Blackwell. The Bernie Naylor medal, well, despite missing a lot of the last month and a half of the season, Chad Jones made it 2 in a row, and if it hadn't been for those injuries, he certainly would have broken a century. The Rodriguez Shield, this is an award that is given when you aggregate all the points of the Colts, the League and the Reserves, and the Tigers finished on top of the ladder, minor premiers in the League and the Reserves, and they were second on the ladder in the Colts, so no surprise they won that in 2010. Who will win the Simpson Medal today? One of our commentary team members, Ryan Turnbull, won 2 of them back-to-back in 2001 and 2002. And if we go through to the most recent Simpson medalist last year, Ashton Hams was rewarded with a rookie contract with the Eagles, and he made his AFL debut as a result this season. So a lot of focus today on the Simpson Medal, and a rarity. We've actually got, of course, the winner and runner-up of the Sandover Medal, both playing today in Cracker and Blackwell. Well, a nervous time for the coaches. For Simon McPhee at Claremont, it's been a terrific effort. He took over a club which was really down and out in the middle of last year. They may have finished 8th after he took over from Roger Kerr, but they showed promising signs. And as we know, they're the minor premiers and the favourite to win today. And Brian Dawson, 3 years at the helm at Bassendean. This is his second grand final. Let's hear now from both men with one of our 2 boundary riders today. It's Rod Willett.
Oh, look, mate, we've worked pretty hard, and we've trained hard, and we've won enough games to get us into this point. We'll know if we deserve it or not at 5 o'clock spin. We think we're good enough to win it, and if we play well enough, well, then we'll deserve it.
You won't have your spiritual leader in Clancy Rutherford out there today. Will it make a difference to the players?
Oh, look, his voice and leadership and the way he plays is outstanding. But I think across the board, the players will take a bit of responsibility for that, and we'll be able to get the job done.
You've been favourites all year. Does that mean there's any more pressure on the players or the coach?
Look, I don't think so. It's a game of footy. There's 2 teams. It doesn't matter what the odds are. We don't really look at those. It's just a matter of who gets the ball and who plays better. So, look, I don't think I certainly don't feel any more pressure, and I don't think the players do either.
You confident?
Oh yeah, I think we are. We've beaten them before, as they've beaten us. So we're entitled to be confident, and but we know that we have to play our best footy to win. That's a given. If we don't, well then the result will be what it will be. But we're confident if we play our best footy that we can get the job done.
Brian, why does Swan District deserve to put their name on the Premiership Cup for 2010?
Well, I don't know if we deserve it. I'm not sure any team deserves it. You have to earn it. So I think I'd probably phrase it that way, Rod. Look, we've, I think, deserved the opportunity to be here today because we've played enough quality footy over the year to have a chance and have an opportunity. So we just got to make the most of it today, and hopefully we can do that.
Your last game as coach of Swan Districts, you've been here before. Does the experience help you today?
Yeah, I think it should. We're here 2 years ago and we've been in the finals for 3 years in a row. So I think all that certainly helps. We're a reasonably experienced group now and pretty seasoned in finals. So we certainly hope that counts for something today.
Claremont have been the dominant side all year. Does that bother you?
Oh, look, it's on the day, and the main thing is to get here, and then on the day you've got a chance. So, yeah, they've been a standout most of the year. We have beaten them, and, we certainly think we can do it again.
Well, can they do it again? We'll find out in the next 3 hours or so here at Subiaco Oval. With me in commentary today, Phil Lamb and Ryan Turnbull. Between them, they've won 4 WAFL premierships. Claremont are the hot favourites, Ryan. Can you see Swans, though, sticking with them to the end and really making it a tight contest, or indeed even getting up and taking the flag?
Look, I can see Swans being very competitive today, and my sort of scenario for the game would be, I think for 3/4 they can match it with them, but that extra final will take its toll. As much as the second half they pretty much cruise through against East Perth, but I think that the quality that Claremont have will get over the line in the end. So I think for about 3/4 they'll be very, very competitive. They have to play good, hard football on Claremont to maintain that competitiveness, but nonetheless, who knows? I mean, if they're competitive at 3/4 time, emotion can carry you through. So it's going to be a great game of football.
Well, here's hoping. Let's have a look at the head-to-head record in 2010. And in round 7, Swans able to inflict Claremont's first of 2 losses for the year by 33 points. A thriller at Bassendean in round 18, a draw. But the next 2 matches, Claremont flexed their considerable muscle as recently as a fortnight ago, getting direct route here to the grand final with a 50-point win in the second semi. As far as the head-to-head overall, Claremont has had the better of the previous 231 meetings. Interestingly, in general finals, they're 6 apiece, but in grand finals, all 3 of them have been won by Swan districts, 82, 83 and 1990, all coached by John Todd. In a moment, we'll have a look at the Swans lineup. Let's have a look at the Claremont lineup first of all, and well, plenty of experience, and that centre line really looks good.
Yes, all in good form too, Glenn, and when you look at the goal-kicking power as well, it's pretty considerable. I think that Crawford has plenty of finals experience. This is the sort of day that someone like Jared Guignette could really jump up. Ian Richardson's had an extremely good season, so look for him. Whoever's going to be playing on him today is going to have a headache by the end of it, I'm quite sure, but very impressive. It's done them proud so far.
And here's the Swans lineup again, plenty of experience.
Yeah, and that is a very good side. There's not too many weak links in there, and they need Spanderman to really lead from the front, from the ruck. He's got a big job against 2 quality ruckmen, and then their midfield have to apply enormous pressure in Roberts, Roach, Wolfenden, Robinson and Casserly to give their backs as much help in defence, and that is more to do with the delivery, because I think Claremont's forward line is very potent. So, and then up forward there, Hansen and Gapin really need to provide good, strong targets. We know they can kick goals. They've just got to convert them today.
Here they are a moment ago, coming out onto the ground. Josh Roberts, the winner of the last 2 best and fairest in his first year as captain, having replaced Adam Lang. And they're looking for another premiership. It will only be their 7th at WAFL league level, but Claremont haven't had that much more success. They entered the competition 8 years earlier in 1926, and they're looking for flag number 11. And what a moment it would be for Simon McPhee, taking over last year as an interim coach. He's now got the job. So too down on the ground has Melissa Tranchita with the national anthem.
For we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is goodbye sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts. Our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Melissa Tranchita with the national anthem. The crowd continues to build. It's gone beyond 21,000, so it looks like today we will be destined for the biggest WAFL grand final crowd in the last 8 years. So terrific to see, given that Claremont historically has not been a big drawing club. We know that Swans are. They had 11,000 at their home preliminary final last weekend when they beat East Perth. So the last preliminaries are being sorted out at the moment at both ends of the ground. The toss of the coin is being made, and Swans have won it. And they're going to kick towards the city end, I think, in the opening quarter. We'll see which way the skipper actually pointed. There's Andrew Cracker just having a last nervous drink there. A rarity, seeing both the winner and runner-up of the Sandover Medal from earlier in the week, both on the ground today. Well, 2 men that also know about premierships, including Todd Ridley, a Simpson Medal in 1996, Rod Willett, twice a premiership player with Subiaco. Gentlemen, a perfect day for footy. Who do you like this afternoon?
Yeah, thanks very much, Glenn, and it is a wonderful day for football, Todd. The weather's perfect and the crowd just is starting to build, and we're hoping for a crowd of around about over 22,000 this afternoon, Glenn, and it's just perfect conditions. I know in other years we've had a bit of rain and everything like that, Todd, but we also get two teams that are very, very close together in talent, and certainly today we're going to see who's going to get their name on the 2002 Premiership Cup. Todd, give us your thoughts. You like Claremont, is that right?
I love Claremont. Rod, if Claremont don't win, I'm going to swim to Sweden and back. I think they've actually had their hand on the cup since about round 18. They've been far and away the best side. They have had a few cruel blues with Rutherford and Jones back out, but I don't think that will stop them. Their midfield is superior with Brabazon, Blackwell, Foster, Mitchell, Brown. There's a few more blokes who can go through there, and their goal-kicking power hasn't lost anything with Jones out. Still got 140 goals between Richardson, Foster, Crawford and Ninyet. So, Rod, I like Claremont, but so I should.
And as I said, 21 degrees at the moment. The wind's from the east-northeast, about 15 kilometres an hour, so it's actually going to probably give it a 1-goal advantage to Claremont in this first quarter. But Glenn, I'm actually going to try and give Swan Districts a big chance in this game. I think they're a good unit. I think they've got a very good forward line. They've got a lot of potential up there. Hanson was just getting warmed up last week. Cole Reevy. They had Walters, another goal kicker, another midfielder, and they're certainly right up for it. It's going to start. There's going to be fireworks. We're looking forward to it. Swan Districts for me.
Already a push and a shove in the middle. Three very experienced umpires. Craig Hendry, Stuart Parry and Gavin Statham, and a free kick, Phil, already to the Tigers.
Yes, it's gone against Swan Districts, those early rough tactics, as Ruck takes the free kick, kicks it towards centre half forward, aims from behind, spoiled it. Roberts has got down there. He was involved in the initial fracas, and umpire Parry has come in to bounce it at centre half forward for Claremont. Craig Hendry, Stuart Parry and Gavin Statham, the officiating field umpires. Now there's still another high tackle, and we're going to see a free kick, I think the way of it's Ruck again.
Yeah, Lane Spanderman's just clipped him across the jaw.
So two very, very undisciplined free kicks by Swan Districts. Now they're looking a little bit better as Walters tumbles the ball with the left boot up towards centre wing. Cole Reevy kicks the ball over the wing and in towards centre half forward. Now there's another free kick off the ball, and it's going to go this way to Swan District. So they start to level it up a little bit. Gapin, it was probably Wilkes who was the infringer. Gapin uses the free kick, looking for Hanson, and Hanson beautifully positioned, judged it nicely, and has taken a strong chest mark. That's going to do his confidence and that of Swan Districts the world of good, Ryan.
Yeah, very good mark. He led well. The only thing is he led towards the boundary line. He did have space towards the goal side, but he elected to go towards the boundary, so it's going to take a very good kick from there to get the first goal for Swans.
Wind might be helping him though from where he is.
So 5 goals, 3 and 2 out of bounds on the full last week, so he could have easily had a massive haul. And if he gets one today, some real pressure on the Tigers.
Well, as Rod said, he was just warming up last week. That game under his belt will do the world of good. He's pushed this right across the face, or has he scored? He has. First score of the 2010 Grand Final, a behind to Swan Districts.
I think he's still warming up, Tom.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that they get these goal front opportunities on song. The hand pass comes out towards Brabazon. It came from Ruck. Got run down from behind by Casserly. Quick hand pass then by Simpson. Spanderman couldn't get a kick away. Brabazon does well to Foster. Now to Wilkes, one of many current AFL listed players, and he finds another one, Shammer. 100 gamer with Fremantle. Now he's got Lewis Stevenson, the Eagle rookie, running forward to the outer wing. He cuts inboard, delivers inside towards full forward. Ninyet, a push. Didn't get away with it. And the free kick going the way of Jetta. There's the replay. And Swans have it at full back.
Yeah, it was pretty blatant, was it, as Jetta kicks the ball to half back. Enkley has taken an easy chest mark, and it'll be 50. So the umpire's pretty busy in the opening part, Ryan, just trying to get the players to settle down, but there has been a few undisciplined acts so far.
Yeah, well, I think you can see the intentions by both sides is to flex their muscles early, and probably a good idea by the umpires just to keep on top of it. You don't want it to get out of hand, and they're doing a good job so far.
Very assertive is Hinckley, pretty assertive looking kick too to centre half forward. Hanson flew very high, couldn't take the mark. Here's the Sandover medalist. Cracker first possession, snapping on goal, bends it but doesn't bend it enough, and Swan Districts now have 2 behinds in the first 3 minutes of the grand final. Hurry up, Claremont kicking the ball into Mitchell. We'll go down to the bench in a minute, but Mitchell bouncing from half back, sends a tumbling kick to the wing. Beautiful pick up out there by Shammer. He's had a couple of possessions on that outer wing, drives towards the half forward line. Ninyet very close to the boundary line, takes it over, and we go down to Claremont's bench.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. We've got Rory Walton, Ian Rowe, Ryan Neitz and Tom Derricks all starting on the bench.
And the Swans bench as the umpire has to go and fox the ball. Rod.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. We've got Brett Wolfenden, Brett Robinson, Ryan Davis and Stephen Caniglio.
Caniglio is tracked for a bit of history today. If he wins the premiership, he'll be the second youngest since recorded history in regard to the dates of birth. Only Jeff Hendricks in 1975, 35 years ago, as a 16-year-old for West Perth. Richardson's clearing kick bounces favourably for Mitchell. He goes inside 50. Going to ground in front down there was Chidsey. At the back, Spencer. Hand pass away to Toomey. Loves to run it. That time he couldn't. Hand pass to Jetta, taken high. He was a little bit reckless, although he was losing his footing. And Starling laid the high tackle. Spencer didn't like the treatment on his diminutive co-backman, but Jetta with the free kick. He's out wide beyond the defensive 50. Spanderman there. Spoilt by Ruck. Spanderman over the footy. Ruck and Crawford over him. It's a stalemate and we'll have a ball up. But Swans with the opening 2 scores, albeit behinds in the first 5 minutes.
And that reaction of Spencer's a little bit dangerous. He could have easily conceded a free kick there. The umpires are just in the mood to be assertive. Bit of a wrestle for the footy after that stoppage. Cracker found the ball, gave it to Roach, spun out of trouble. Another hand pass to Spanderman. This time he just squeezes the kick away, but it was touched off the boot. I think the players haven't heard it. Simpson has taken the mark, not paid, but he gets the kick away. Risky sort of a kick into the middle of the ground. Unit does beautifully to control the ball, then hand passes to Brabazon. The run comes from behind him in the form of Andrew Brown, who steadies. Low trajectory pass inside 50 was a beauty. Chidsey's taken the mark.
Vignettes coming off.
Goes for the short. It was touched off the boot. Foster has it. Back to Richardson. He was on his non-preferred side, so he gives it to Chidsey. He's a right footer. Sends it goalwards. It's Nick Chidsey. Kicked the first goal. He has. From right full forward, Nick Chidsey. You would have got pretty good odds, I think, Ryan, about picking Nick Chidsey as the first goal kicker in this grand final, but that's what's happened. Swan District's 2 behinds, Claremont with the first major. Yeah,
very good play by Nick Chidsey there, and it's vitally important you get the first goal of a grand final just to really settle the nerves. I'm going to go back to Ninyet. He created a very good turnover in the middle with the switch that was going into the centre. Unfortunately for him, he's landed, I think, on his ankle and has now come off. He hobbled off. But that allowed the ball then to come back into the forward line. And Nick Chidsey's been a very good player, not only at Claremont, but prior to that at East Fremantle.
Yeah, Ninyet will be fine. They're restrapping his ankle at the moment, but the doctors have given him the thumbs up.
75th senior game for Chidsey, the first 40 of them with the Sharks. Roberts couldn't control the footy. Now he applies the pressure at ground level. Have another bounce, still inside the centre square. Chad Jones in the coach's box with Simon McPhee. Unfortunately, second year in a row, the Bernie Naylor medalist, but injury keeping him out of the final series. Spanderman wins it down. Mitchell taken high. He's got the free kick, Kane Mitchell. Breaking to the outer wing is Neitz. Old-fashioned looking footballer with black boots. You don't see them very often as he goes towards half forward and Stevenson. Now free inside 50 is Shammer. He spots him, finds him. About 48 out, almost directly in front. Aaron Shammer, the one criticism of his game, which is now over 100 at AFL level, is his finishing off the boot. Hopefully from Claremont's point of view here, he can steer it straight. 16 games this year with the Tigers, 3 Fremantle, 127 all up for the Dockers. Right on 50 to the city end. It's holding up a little. Is it touched? It is. Touched by Talon Ames on the line. The Tigers first behind.
Well, he certainly had it on line, Glenn. There's no doubt about that. It wasn't a bad kick from Byron Shammer. Riggio brings the ball back into play, and that was a terrible kick. Not only went over the line without being touched, but actually over the line on the full line from a kick in. That is a very, very poor turnover and could be crucial as Crawford kicks the ball in towards full forward. Talon Ames does well to take the mark. Hand passes to Roberts, likewise then to Toomey. Swan District's out of trouble, or are they? Oh, great effort there by Cracker. 2 number 3s, the Sandover medalist and the runner-up, coming together in that clack. Now Cracker taking Blackwell on. Hand passes to his skipper. Roberts further back now to Pearce. To Roberts. Got themselves into a bit of bother here. Riggio's hand pass is a bit better. Goes to Pearce, back to Roberts again. They've racked up about 8 hand passes in that exchange. Now Hinkley gets around one opponent, kicks rather dangerously. Walton does extremely well. Started on the bench, but into the action. Anderson, hand pass went astray. Spanderman did well to get it on then to Gapin. Gapin to Hinkley, back through traffic. Toomey took it in the same instance, was taken in a tackle. Here's Anderson now to Blackwell, onto the boot. Rather refreshing to see a kick after all of that. Didn't go very far. Foster had it knocked down. Roberts, another hand pass. Now Roach, the speedster. Short pass into the centre circle. He overcooked the kick poorly. Only had to kick it about 16 or 17 metres. Here's another turnover. Mitchell, prodigious kick out to right half forward. That's a good one. Crawford wants to draw Talon Ames. In the end does. Hand pass goes to Stevenson down along the boundary line and into the pocket to the goal scorer. The only goal scorer just inside 9 minutes of play into Nick Chidsey.
It was good odds if he kicked the first one. I wonder what odds it'd be if you said that I want to back him pre-game for the first two.
Probably 150 to 1 you would have got. He's right on the boundary line, Nick Chidsey. Will be protected from the easterly breeze. Pretty good kick as he showed with his first effort. Comes into about 38 metres, sends it on its way, and it has just missed to the far side. So 1-1 to Nick Chidsey, and Claremont a 1-2. Swan District's 2 behinds.
Ninyet back on, boys, and he'll be fine.
Swans need to cut down on those easy entries for Claremont into their forward line as well, boys.
Clancy Pierce, who tasted some more AFL footy this year with Fremantle, goes looking for Toomey. Well spoilt, though, by Walton coming across, put his body on the line. He shovels it along the ground to Laurie. Laurie's hand pass over Brabazon's head, off the palm of Walters, and a throw in.
Well, it's Swan District's inability to hit a target by foot at the moment, which is costing him dearly. The couple of kicks into the midfield have just created very easy turnovers for Claremont the other way.
Low scoring in the opening 10 minutes on a perfect day. Fresh air shot by Walton behind the ruckman. Cracker over the footy. Drags it back in. That could be fraught with danger, but it still comes out nonetheless. Spencer a hand pass under pressure into the ground. Cracker in there again. Can't gather it, taken to ground by Blackwell. Well, it is a real rarity. You've got the Sandover medalist playing on the runner-up from earlier in the week with Cracker and Blackwell on each other.
That's fantastic to see though, Glenn, isn't it?
It is. Two sons of guns, and Jimmy Cracker is here watching today. I'm sure Wayne Blackwell is. He coaches the Claremont Colts at the moment. Over the shoulder, and Talon Ames gets the ruck infringement free at centre-half back.
Within a couple of spectators of 23,000, Glenn, as Ames hand passes to Roach. He's got nowhere to go forward. Riskily back. The hand pass wasn't that great. Pierce had to shrug off a would-be tackler. It goes with a low pass. Could be another turnover in the midfield, Ryan. It is. Walton gathers. Hand passes to Neitz. Now Neitz has got a bit of time and space on centre wing. Goes to the half-forward line, and Foster on the lead's taken the mark. Had a metre or so on Riggio, and it was a good finish by Neitz. Foster does well too. It's a lovely, beautifully weighted pass meant for Richardson. Roach was there, and probably Ryan Richardson could have done a little better.
I mean, he looked up like to shade his eyes afterwards, so the sun might have got him in the eyes, but he really should have sort of snapped that up. It was a relatively easy chest mark.
One that has gone begging, throwing at the left full forward pocket for the Tigers. City end of the ground in the first quarter. 10-2 inside 50s in favour of Claremont. Now Swan Districts will then bring it out of their defensive 50 through Cracker, and that's a good looking kick. They need more of those. He spotted up Walters at left half back.
That's better. Long to Hanson.
Yeah, long to Hanson on a long lead, by the way. Behind him Franz, but then he ran into a Hanson tackle. The ball goes to ground. Cole Reevy didn't take the footy, but wrapped up a Claremont player in a tackle. And that was Andrew Brown, I think, who was just swept up in that tackle and dumped over the boundary line by Cole Reevy. Former Claremont player, of course. Now a boundary throw in. Just forward of the southern wing. Ruck taps it down on the second attempt to Mitchell. He ducked his head. You can hear the umpire. And now he's going to be penalised for holding the ball. Pretty tough call, but he did duck the head. Now Cracker has got the free kick, and he's being brought around behind his mark by the umpire. Sends it to full forward. Hanson in best position to mark, and does. Almost marked it on his right shoulder, Ryan. And again, in that contest with Franz, he was able to protect the space that the ball was going to land in.
It was a very good kick to his advantage. Ash Hanson averages 9 marks a game, and he's a real target for them. And on the bigger oval, I think he needs to move up a bit more. And I think it's evident because when they're coming out of the back line, he's too far back. Yeah. They need a real good target across half forward.
Second shot from, again, a very, very difficult angle, and he has really thumped that into the right-hand goal post. So another Mr. Ash Hanson, another Mr. Swan Districts. They're 3 behinds. Claremont a 1-2. Long kicking to play for Claremont, and it has found Ryan Neitz.
Ryan Neitz, an Eagles listed player, kicks high towards the wing. Wilkes, the target, doesn't let him down. Wilkes now goes to the edge of the centre square. He's overcooked it. Cracker doesn't need turnovers. He'll find enough for the footy himself. Sandover medalist, one bounce, long, misses to the right. You'd expect a better finish than that from Cracker. 4 behinds. They're halfway to Claremont's 1-2-8 in the opening 14 minutes of the 2010 grand final.
Laurie brings it in. There's no one more relieved in this ground at the moment than Bo Wilkes after that miss. Swift gathers it, hand passes to Foster. Foster just going half rat power at the moment. Hinkley nearly ran him down. The Foster kick a bit disappointing. Ninette is back on the ground and was momentarily in control of the footy. Swift gives him the hand to Crawford, to Ninette. That was touched off the boot. And we'll see a throw. No, he won't, because it was picked up by Roach. He keeps the ball alive. Got it back there from Richardson along the boundary line to Cracker. Did pretty well to keep the ball inside play, and then it was Swift who had the ball blanketed off his boot.
But it's a free kick. It's come off. He's kicked out of bounds on 4. I thought it went the other way. No.
Here it is in replay. Swift. Well, yeah, I reckon you're right. I think it came off the Swan District's boot. It didn't matter. Walters has got the free kick and he's given it to Hinkley. He's right on the southern wing below the electronic scoreboard, Hinkley. He's called now by the umpire to play on. Spots up Davis on a lead. He's still behind the centre of the ground. Ryan Davis improves his angle, decides he's got nothing to kick at, so he hand passes to Riggio. He squeezes a short pass to go. Another poor one, if you don't mind. Getting into the action was Richardson. He just socked the ball away, but Cole Reevy's first there for Swan Districts gets taken by the shorts, but hand passes to Wolfenden, swings it across his body. Awkward bounce there for Franz, and also Crawford. Come unstuck, not enough talking between the two, although Crawford goes in on the second effort and gets the hand pass out to Brown. Goes deep into the back pocket with a short pass. Anderson goes through to full back and finds Byron Shammer, the short pass. Talk about turnovers, Ryan. I think Claremont trying to even up on these turnovers because a couple of poor kicks, and now on both occasions they've allowed Cracker into it.
Yeah, and Cracker read this kick very well. He just knew straight away that where the pass was going and just intercepted it. Terrible kick by Byron Shammer. Experience would say that you've got to make sure you hit your target, and if you've got any doubt deep in the back line in finals, go long towards the boundary line.
Well, Swan Districts need a goal. Nearly 16 minutes have gone. They haven't kicked one yet. Cracker sends this on its way, and again, 2 posters. Well, how crucial are these missed opportunities going to be for Swan Districts later in the game?
Well, they should have at least had 2 goals, on the board, and both of those really, Cracker and probably Hanson's goals, were the easiest of all of them.
Kick out towards the outer side. Collision of bodies. Could have always been a free kick out there to the Tigers' row. Swift, a fumble. His hand pass stolen by a former Tiger. Cole Reevy straightens up. 45 out. Well, they've got their first goal, but it's been made up of 6 consecutive behinds. And could they look back on the opening 16 and a half minutes as the telling point in this grand final?
Well, the inside 50s are starting to balance up a little bit. It's now 10-8. Franz takes the short kick in. Hand passes to Anderson, a bit of a dasher across half-back, releases the hand pass to Blackwell, sends the ball over the centre of the ground to the half-forward knot line. Ninette got the better of Jetta on that occasion. Hand pass to Crawford. His hand pass has come unstuck. Gets support from Starling. Back to Crawford, taken down in a tackle. Here's another turnover. Casserly to Ames. Got it to Toomey. Creative hand pass in front of Hinkley. Gives it to Simpson. He's a left footer. Uses the left hand. He'll get a free kick, but they've got the advantage. Casserly probably could have used Hinkley with a hand pass. Goes long to full forward. That was the wrong option. Hinkley was there, and he really should have given that handball.
And Gapin had led up, and he'd elected to go long, so the space was in front of Gapin, and he's kicked it over his head. Good result in the end to get it out of bounds instead of a kick in.
Buck with the right fist out towards the boundary line. Brabazon led to the ball by Cracker. He went out, kept the footy in. An inventive check side, not 15. Ruck again the fist. Last line of defence, Andrew Brown, the skipper today, in the absence of the injured Rutherford, and he finds Stevenson to Neitz. Well, he just double-fisted down. Here's the 16-year-old Canelio, started on the bench, nowhere to go, feeds it backwards to Wolfenden, and he kicks it forward. Hanson with Brabazon, neither could mark. Off hands now, the clearing kick wide by Shammer, taken by Neitz. Running on is Foster, the former East Fremantle Shark. 41 goals, 7 for him this year, and he turns that one over. Yes, the mark was dropped, but chids into the back of Jetta, and Jetta the free kick at right half back.
Now, Jetta came off very, very sore at the end of last week's preliminary final, Glenn. He's taken a heavy one there. I hope it's not just hit a sensitive area, but he seems to be okay. Pearce bends the ball across his body and blindly kicked it to one of two Claremont players, if you don't mind. Ruck has taken the mark. Hand pass to Anderson. Kicks from just behind the left centre wing to open space at centre half forward. Ninette has got a break on Spanderman. You'd back Ninette's pace against Spanderman, although the big Swan District's ruckman corralled him pretty well. Ninette kicks across his body. In comes Spencer. He puts a fist into it, and that wasn't terribly good play by Ninette. He needed to improvise a little bit better than that, Ryan.
Should have taken on Spanner. I mean, he did very well, Spannerman, to corral him, but he really should have tucked the ball under his arm and had a red-hot go at getting past him.
I thought that's what he was going to do. Derrick's now in ruck opposed to Spanderman. Spanderman got a fist into it. Toomey protected the ball well, created an opportunity for Robinson, who punts it rather untidily but effectively to the boundary line on the southern side of the ground.
There's good pressure by both sides at the moment.
It's a very good game of football. Low scoring though.
Happily say that the crowd of 23,800 is the biggest crowd we've had for a WAFL Grand Final since 2002. So the last 8 years, it's good to see. Foster has it stolen off him by his Claremont teammate, but he lost it, Walton. Foster has a chance again. The ball sat on its end, which made it difficult for Brown. Not so for Wolfenden. Deep towards left full forward. Franz did well there against Hansen. The cavalry arriving, support in the shape of Wilkes. And we'll have a throw in at right full back for the Tigers.
If Hansen can keep getting his hands on the ball, it may force Claremont to put Wilkes on him, which would then free up, I think, Gapin.
Just the one goal, and we're just into time on now in the opening term. Ruck infringement, shepherding, and the free kick is going to go the way of the Tigers to Andrew Ruck, who's made a very good start to this match.
It was against Tim Gapin, who wasn't himself in the contest and kept Ruck out of it. He swings the ball across from pocket to pocket, and Anderson almost treks back to the goal line. Sends the kick down the corridor pretty well. Bit dangerous. They were outnumbered 2-1. Laurie was a good contest in the air. And then Rowe fed a hand pass to Brabazon. A give and run by Brabazon, but now it's Neats, a pretty good runner himself. Runs down the left centre wing. Two bounces. Neat steadies. Kicks to the half forward line. Putting a hand up there was Derricks. Did well on the second effort. The big man thumps the right boot into it to full forward. Ames outnumbered 2 or 3-1. Chidsy's the only goal scorer. Improves the angle and finds Shammer. Now Shammer will have another shot at goal, or will he? No, he doesn't like his chances. Kicks to Richardson, and you'd like his chances from there. He's marked about 47 metres out from goal, and well, pretty much directly in front of a player of his goal-kicking prowess. Ryan shouldn't have any trouble from there.
No, he's a wonderful kicker of the football. He should easily, well, he'll make the distance, and the question of accuracy, you know, he should kick this goal.
They lead by 2 points. They've had 3 scoring shots. Swans have had 6. He runs to 49 metres, sends it on its way. Applauded through on the goal line by Derricks, and Richardson has got the second for Claremont. And in a way, Ryan, you'd think it's almost against the run of play, because Swan Districts have just had plenty of the ball over the last 7 or 8 minutes, but couldn't convert.
Well, at the moment, Swans are their own worst enemies. Their turnovers are costly. Their opportunities probably the most important thing. They're just not making the most of their opportunities. And in grand finals, you've got to, you know, when you get a chance up forward to score, you've got to kick your goals. Otherwise, they come to really hurt you in the end. It takes so much effort in this game to get a scoring opportunity that when you miss out on it, it can really come to hurt you in just general legness, leg speed and fitness towards the end of the game. And just, you know, they could really hurt those 2 posters at least.
Crooked bounce, in fact, a shocker. Getting back to the umpires here, Craig Hendry, during the week, won his 4th Montgomery medal, as Brian Dawson looks on, so the 4th time umpire of the year, and today is his 313th game, which equals Grant Vernon's all-time WA record. Brabazon, the hand pass to Laurie, out wide. Shammer, good kick off the left boot. And floating inside 50 is Ruck. He's had a terrific year, second only to Michael Ricks of Subiaco, the former St Kilda ruckman, for hit-outs in the league this season. But he's also picked up plenty of possessions, and near the end of the season started to become a reliable goal scorer. Kicked 3 against Swans, in fact, in round 21, and followed up with 3 the following week in the penultimate round against the Falcons. Outside 50, that's way off the side of the boot. Pack flies, and Derricks. An uncontested mark in the end. He read the ball as it slew off the outside of the boot and has taken the uncontested mark, and it's surely a question here only of accuracy, because he's going to kick from only about 15 to 20 metres out. We see in replay there both Spencer and Pierce chatting with each other after neither tried to affect the spoil. He gets nowhere near the man on the mark. Backs himself from 30 odd metres out. Could have kicked it from half the distance. It doesn't matter though. Tom Derricks, who started on the bench, the reserves best and fairest last year, as I think it's a Tiger fan in the crowd, likes that goal at the 24-minute mark.
Well, it's been a very good move by Claremont to put their resting ruckman, Derricks, up forward. Really there, that fault there is all to do with Matthew Spencer. He should have gone. He was the tall in the back line. He should have competed with him in the air. He didn't. You know, they pointed fingers at each other, but being the tallest player down there, he should have gone for that contest. Good play by Ruck in the middle to track the ball and make an option into their forward line for the kick in. Great combination, probably one of the best combinations for the Rucks in the WAFL.
And the bounce, well, it was allowed to
call back.
Yeah, it wasn't called back, as Crawford tears in from the offensive side of the square, took possession, lovely hand pass to Stevenson. He kicks over the top of Shammer's head, diving to, well, going to his knees at least with Starling. Hand pass to Shammer, bowled over. He tried to knock it to advantage, but it was picked up by Riggio. Now Riggio hand passes to Roach. A real floater off the boot, but it found Robinson in the middle of the ground. Hand passes now to Davis. Forward goes Swan Districts. Lovely kick from Davis onto the chest of a leading Hanson. He's working hard, but he only has 2 behinds to his credit at the moment. And probably right on his distance, Ryan. He's going to have to kick from 55.
Oh, it's going to take a very good kick. There's still, you know, there's only 2 players or 2 opposing players down there, and now the ruckman in ruck gets down there for Claremont.
It's taken him a while to get down there because Hanson's taken a while to prepare himself, but goes back, steers it through. Prodigious kick on goal by Hanson, and Swan Districts importantly have their first run. 1 goal, 6 Swans. Claremont 3 goals, 2, 20. The margin 8 points, but that really is going to give them some confidence. And it was importantly, Ryan, a good passage of play down the middle of the ground where they used the ball much better.
It was, and Hanson led up the middle through the corridor, which, you know, that there is just perfect. That's textbook football. You get out of the defence, you run it back through the middle. Every time they've done that prior to this, they've turned it over right in the centre square and created another scoring opportunity for Claremont. This time they got through. Hanson on the burst up the middle makes it as easy an option having a shot on goal than his previous 2, and converts. So a much needed goal, not only for Swans but also for Hanson's confidence.
Ruck resting up forward now. Into the ruck goes Derricks. Crawford, the hand pass away. Little kick forward there by Walton. Not great, but the Tigers may still win the day. No, Jetta gathers. Collard. Crawford intercepts the hand pass, gives it off, gathered off the ground by Tommy Swift, left foot, missing on the run from 30. So behind to the Tigers to extend their lead to 9 points.
Going back to Ash Hanson, boys, he should know this ground better than anybody. He trains and played on it probably more than any other player.
Well, he knows how to kick them from a long way out at centre-half forward spin, because that was a fantastic kick as Pierce uses it short in from the goal square to find Hinkley. Last 2 centre clearances have been won by Crawford coming in from the front of the centre square, Ryan. So Swans are going to have to watch that as Hinkley uses his 20 seconds, goes with a high roost up towards the half-back line through the hands of Derricks. Could be costly because Cracker's just lurking at the back of the pack. Clever little inboard kick, just didn't quite find Cornelio the target. Walton flipped a hand pass over his head to Brown, who then slips over, gets a hand pass back to Rory Walton, chips it short. Plenty of elevation in it, and camping underneath it was Blackwell, the runner-up in this year's Sandover Medal. Luke Blackwell, winner of the Simpson Medal in the state game earlier this year. Pierce doing the spoiling. Swift, a hand pass to Richardson on his non-preferred foot. Does pretty well, though, to kick it into the pocket. Ames goes back. Well, it could have been paid the mark or a free kick. Walton with the crumbs. Swan District supporters didn't like it. Crawford now gets the crumbs and completely miscues. Did he try to dribble it through?
So.
Or did he miscue? I'm not too sure, but he tried to dribble it.
I would have paid that as a mark to Talon
Yeah, well,
Ames.
gee, Talon Ames could, he could count himself pretty unlucky as we see Jetta receiving a very, very solid one. That's not for the first time this afternoon.
He's copped a couple. Boundary throw in from behind. Ruck wins it down. Foster back to goal. So hand passes to Mitchell. They're outside 50. Hand pass picked up by Davis. Intercepted though by Laurie with strength. Noel then knocked away by Riggio out towards the boundary. Swans had the numbers. Gee, Foster was easily bumped the ground by Roberts. Opened the path for Wolfenden. After a bounce goes to Hanson. Franz. A good spoil leaning around and thumping it out of play. Cracker coming off for his first spell, being replaced by Cole Reevy. You see Wolfenden riding the lorry bump there as he kicked it downfield, but Fran's a very good spoil as Hansen now's trekked all the way back to right full forward. Spanderman wins it down. Davis is there. Siren sounds. Pretty short quarter in modern day terms. 28 minutes 25, although in fairness we only had 4 goals, but 3 of them going the way of the minor premier. And as a result, Claremont, the pre-match favourite, leads at quarter time in the 2010 WAFL Grand Final by 9 points. So quarter time in the 2010 WAFL Grand Final, a 9-point lead to the Tigers, 3 goals to 1 in favour of the minor premier in the opening term. Fairly spirited at quarter time. Lane Spanderman got a bit lost, Ryan, and started to walk through the Claremont huddle, and Bo Wilkes decided he'd almost escort him all the way through towards the Swans huddle. But it was a good first quarter, tight, perhaps some nervous errors, but Swans 6 consecutive behinds, including 2 posters. And I mean, that shot on the run, for example, by the Sandover medalist Cracker, you'd normally expect him to kick that. Yeah, you would do. A lot of nervous energy out there at the moment, and I think Swans' intention early on was to try and ruffle up Tigers and get sort of a bit of physical pressure. We know that history, when you look back at history against these sides, every time Swans win, they play a good man-on-man football, and they are doing that very well. But as you said, Glenn, it is those 6 points which is proving costly for them so far, and a couple of turnovers in the middle. Just missed little chip kicks which have allowed Claremont to go back into their forward 50. Great game of football, very spirited, both sides going flat out at it, and it's a really good spectacle for WAFL football. Certainly is, and the crowd now up near 24,200, so as we said, it's the best crowd for a WAFL Grand Final since 2002, and given that Claremont traditionally is not a very big drawing club, it's a great turnout, but mind you, the conditions are perfect. Let's have a look at the goal scorers to quarter time in this year's Grand Final, and on the right of screen there, Ash Hansen had some opportunities, 2 behinds, the second hitting the goalpost from tight angles at left full forward before he got their only goal at the 25-minute mark. The Tigers getting their first through. Chidsey 6 minutes in, followed in quick succession by Richardson at the 22-minute mark, and then the ruckman Tom Derricks resting up forward at the 24-minute mark. Byron Shammer, very prominent early, so too David Crawford with 9 disposals. Anderson, who's pretty new to the Claremont lineup, playing just his 14th game, recruited from the West Coast Junior Club, having a good first quarter. So too Foster. Ruck was in the ruck and also doing well around the ground. And Chidsey, the first goal scorer, and he picked up 4 kicks in the opening quarter. For Swan Districts, well, no surprises there. The man who won this year's Sandover Medal and averages 27 disposals a game. Cracker with 2 marks, 10 kicks, and some errant kicking for him, unfortunately. Hansen 1 goal, 2. Hinkley, Roach doing some good things, and Ryan Davis starting the game on the bench but picking up 4 disposals when he came onto the ground. Interesting, Josh Roberts 5 disposals. They've all been by hand. Let's have a look at the aggregate stats now for these teams at quarter time, and you can see that Claremont have had 24 more disposals, 12 more marks. The centre breaks is interesting, 5-0 in favour of the Tigers. The inside 50s 16-10. So Claremont favoured by the numbers and favoured at the moment, Ryan, on the scoreboard as well. Yeah, they are, and everything suggests they are the better side out there at the moment. Swans are giving it all, but it's that reward for effort. The beauty about Claremont's side is that with Derricks up forward, it gives them that extra tour. They can take him off and then have a smaller player, whereas Swans don't have that flexibility. Well, let's go down to the Claremont huddle. Phil Matera knew about kicking goals on this ground, but he's not too happy, I don't think, with the Claremont forwards at quarter time.
No, he wasn't.
You're winning on needs you he needs to be coming up leading, so he can't be found too deep. You get me? Because when they're coming out of the back, when they're coming off the wing, they're looking up, we've got no one to kick to, right?
So there you go, looking up and no one to kick to. So he wants them to be a bit smarter down there, not just all leading up the ground. There is the Claremont huddle. Simon McPhee, the coach, addressing them, and Todd Ridley is right near the group of 22 Tigers.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. You heard Phil Materi. He wasn't too happy at all. They are happy with their effort in the centre of the ground. Like you said, they've won 5-0 at the moment, and they want to stay on top there. Simon McPhee, overly happy with everything so far. Wants his players to take a bit more care in disposal and get to the contest in numbers, but they know they're up for a contest today compared to the last couple of times they played Swans, but I still think they're on top here, Glenn.
Thanks a lot, Todd. Well, Byron Shammer, we saw, was prominent in the first quarter, and he got back into Fremantle's list in the second half of the year, played some footy. He'd be looking for a big game today, Ryan, to remind Mark Harvey of his abilities.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an important week coming up soon in AFL Trade Week, and you just don't know what they might do with Byron Shammer.
They're trying to get a deal on the table to get him back to Adelaide, aren't they?
Well, anything's possible, so he needs a good game.
Certainly does. He started fairly prominently. There's Clancy Rutherford. You've got a feel for him. He is the Claremont skipper in his second year as captain. He suffered a very bad broken jaw, which included a couple of teeth knocked out in the second semi when he was charged into by the former Fremantle player in Luke Pratt, who's not playing in the grand final by the result of the tribunal and a 3-week suspension, but very unlucky for Clancy Rutherford. He tried desperately late in the week to prove his fitness just a fortnight after multiple breaks to the jaw, but in the end Simon McPhee and the Claremont match committee thinking otherwise, and still there, still very much part of the group, but unfortunately not playing today. And there he is going down to the dugout, a wealth of experience. He'll be able to talk to a lot of the younger players as they come on and off the ground, but a bittersweet day it will be if Claremont win the flag for Clancy Rutherford. There's young Stephen Cornelio talking with the former West Coast Eagle Premiership player in Adam Hunter. Let's go down to Brian Dawson with Rod Willett at quarter time.
Brian, 6 points on the board to 1 goal. Missed targets, overused the handball. You're confident your players can get better?
Oh yeah, look, we had 7 shots on goal. We should have had a couple more goals, so you know we just didn't make the most of our chances, but at least we created them, so there's positives in that. We just got to finish the game off better. We've missed a few targets midfield, which could have really set us up, so maybe a couple of nerves early, but we just got to settle and get on with it.
You've gone in with 1 ruckman against Claremont's 2. That's not a problem for you at the moment?
Oh, well, look, it's the way we structure up, so we've got to make the best of it. We've got a couple of things in mind that we'll try, so, it's just the way we are.
Thanks, Brian.
What a great day's entertainment for the crowd here. Not only terrific footy, but they've got Russell Wolfe entertaining them on the PA and the big screen at each break. Ball bounced back in the middle, one down by Ruck, straight down the throat of Brabazon, the former Sydney Swan. Touches it down once. Not the best looking kick, but it has the desired result. Richardson marking on his chest. He got a goal in the opening quarter for the Tigers, 59 for the season. And as we see him there in replay, just getting away from Richardson on the lead. Richardson, a pair of them playing on one another, getting a hand on it. Spencer at the back. Rory Walton gathers and with a check side gets the goal for the Tigers inside 55 seconds of the start of the second quarter.
Well, just amazing. 2 loose Claremont players behind the contest there. The Swan players all went for the ball, which, that's good commitment, but you still need some awareness. You need to know who's going up, goes over the back. Should have been a spoil there by Spencer. And look, 2 players running onto it, and Rory Walton on the outside of his boot kicks a good goal. Good start by Claremont. Just a bad mistake by Spencer.
And it was another telling centre clearance too by the Tigers. Brabazon flashed through and made his presence felt. So Swan Districts certainly wouldn't have had it in their plan at quarter time to concede such an early goal. Back in the middle very, very quickly after the initial bounce. Spanderman will oppose Derricks. Spanderman just caught underneath it a little bit. Neither ruckman got a hand to it. Swift gets a boot to it and clears the centre square over the top of the Richardsons as they ran at the footy. Going to ground there was Starling. Couldn't be penalised for holding the ball. It comes out for Davis. Hand pass to Roberts, the skipper. Now to Spanderman. He goes over the centre circles to centre half forward, and on the lead was Hansen. Surely too far out to score on this occasion. Gets on with it quickly into the pocket. Cole Reevy, running the same way as the footy, has taken the mark on his chest. That was a very clever kick by Ashley Hansen.
I'm not sure it wasn't a miss kick. I think he was actually going for Gapin.
So do I.
And it was off the side of the boot.
Yeah, because he looked as if he looked up to see where Gapin was running to, and it went out the side of his boot. Very good lead up the corridor again by Ash Hansen. A wonderful delivery by Lane Spanderman running through. He needs to do more of that. He needs to get the rucks for Claremont to be playing closer to him. And it was a good spot up, good passage of play by Swans.
Well, if it was a missed kick, it was probably the best option. Now, Cole Reevy from 40 metres. Can he just even out that initial goal by the Tigers? He can't. He just pushes it slightly across the face. Well, that would have been a very handy one. Quickly, the Tigers bringing the ball into play. Anderson doing the kicking, finds Rowe, plays on from half-back. A couple of bounces now. He's into the centre square, pops the ball up high, into space, waiting for Ninette to run onto the footy, which he does, giving chase Jetta. Getting Shepherd there, a too high Shepherd. I think the umpires come in and said Derrick's really got into Jetta. He has taken some physical punishment in the early part of this game. Jetta, you see, he wasn't expecting that one, and the bump was high on Jetta. So he goes with a free kick. Robinson fumbles. Roberts is there, but he was flat-footed, taking in the tackle, and he's going to be caught holding the ball. Well, the hand pass to him wasn't the best option. He was flat-footed. The free kick with Swift goes high into the pocket. Spencer comes out and takes a mark. There are four former Jack Clark medalists playing out there today, Ryan, you know, and Spencer is one of them as he goes short to Roach. Haven't seen a lot of him. Need to see more of him from a Swans point of view. The kick from Spencer, terrible. Goes to Derricks on the boundary line. Centering kick by the Claremont ruckman. Oh, a couple of Claremont players there misunderstanding between the two of them, and Ames has come through. He's played a good game in defence, and he's punched it through for a rush behind.
Back into play. Ryan Davis confronted by Mitchell, and he takes the ball out. So a good win there in the end for the Tigers. Davis not happy.
Now you're supposed to ask me who the others are.
Who are the others?
Matthew Spencer, Andrew Ruck, Ryan Brabazon and Ian Richardson, all won in consecutive years. Thanks for asking.
Davis, it's a pleasure. Davis, the free kick. He's gone backwards. Roach into the path here of Clancy Pearce. The ground opens up in front of him, takes a bounce. Ninette is quick. He's closed him down, moving like a whippet. Mind you, he's built like one as well. Pearce's kick over the head of Hansen, but he's got the best recovery. Confronted by Wilkes, bounces the hand pass to Robinson. Over the top he goes. Should be a goal. Walters nails it.
Great hand pass by Hansen.
It was indeed. So all of a sudden the margin back to what it was at quarter time. 9 points in favour of the Tigers. Michael Walters had a very good end of the season at AFL level with Fremantle, and a good goal there.
At the moment, to my liking, Ash Hansen's almost the most important player for Swan Districts. He's straightening them up. He's giving him a target, like good long lead there. As much as he didn't get it, he recovered well. He could see he wasn't going to mark it, so he stopped to get under the ball and recovered well. And, you know, good follow-up by the Swan Districts players. But, you know, working very hard. They're one-dimensional. Wilkes has got hold of Gapin at the moment. Gapin's nowhere. He can't get near the ball. And at the moment, Swans has just got to keep going through Hansen.
Ruck beaten by Spanderman. Tried to tap it down to Cracker, who couldn't get his hands on the footy. Blackwell flips the ball out. Walton has it. He lays the hand pass off to Brabazon. Well, he couldn't take it, but Swift was there for him. Now he wants to draw a player. Gets it to Brabazon, now gets it back, taken into Roberts, a tackle. What a brilliant tackle by Roberts. Probably should have been rewarded. The ball spills for Roach. Cracker, now Spanderman fends off Richardson. Hand passes back to Cracker. A bit of the fit of the fumbles, but got a hand pass into the knee of Mitchell, who follows up. He hand passes to Walton. Untidy play, but the player's working very hard. And Jetta has taken some physical punishment, but he judged that to a nicety. Luckily, what happened there with Shammer, Cole Reevy, looked as though he was going to be outpointed. Gets it off to Casserly, who we haven't seen a lot of. He drives the ball out in front of Robinson. Well, it sat up for him, but ricochets off his hands. A bit of a fumble there. A couple of players, including Cracker, fumbling. 6 minutes have gone in the second quarter, and you'd think those initial nerves would have just about expired from the players of both sides.
Boundary throw in on the southern wing.
Spanderman and Ruck over the back. Spanderman clean possession to the Sandover medalist. Cracker, the long stand start. Drop punt, great mark. Walters, telescopic arms, inside 50. Gapin's free. Great half volley pickup across the body from 40. He's pulled it too much. Hansen couldn't take the mark. He's going to have a couple of beat on the ground. Hand passed it away. May have been grabbed then by Franz. Lucky not to give away a free kick there to Tigers.
He was.
Very well done, because he's stymied two opponents there, Hansen, Franz and Wilkes. We see here that tackle lingered after he'd hand passed it away.
And that one was high.
Yeah, maybe the umpire said, fair enough, 15 all. Mitchell, hand passes beyond the defensive 50. Roberts, the skipper, can't gather first attempt. Over the footy now with Foster of Claremont. Hand pass by Roach, stolen by Crawford. Hand passes to Mitchell. His kick flirts with the boundary line, but it's okay. Marked by Shammer. He goes to Ninyat, sat in the air too long. Oh, good blind turn. Jetta spun away from the would-be tackle of Richardson. Hand passes to Pearce. They've got players now breaking towards the outer side. Pearce a fourth bounce. Needs to try and straighten up. A fifth bounce. Heading towards the Little League goals on the southern wing. Now he eventually goes long. Hansen has two to beat again. Ruck flew in front, couldn't mark. Coming out, Walters can't control it. And a boundary throw in on the 50 or thereabouts. The Swans at right full forward.
As much as he had time and space, Clancy Pearce, the bounce was probably the worst thing he did, because he had players on the lead. He had to look up opposed to having a bounce. And the moment he had a couple of bounces, they were all out of position.
They got out of it pretty well. Toomey doing some ruck work, comes down with the footy. Now he's lost it. Hinckley gathers it, breaks away from the stoppage, kicks it goalwards and kicks truly. While Swan District's getting the upper hand in the grand final of 2010. Took them a fair while to make an impact on the scoreboard. Just 1-6 at quarter time. They've moved on to 3-7, and by doing that, Ryan have got to within 3 points of Claremont. 4-4-28 the Tigers.
Yeah, just good pressure there. He just read the ball and worked on through. And that's Coniglio, is it?
I thought it was. I thought it was Hinckley. Let's have a look at it.
Coniglio, boys.
It's Coniglio. Coniglio, I beg your pardon. I thought it was Hinckley. Well done.
And that's the first back-to-back goals for Swan District, so vitally important that they've now managed to get 2 goals in a row.
And a 16-year-old kicking the goal there, Stephen Coniglio. He's only rolling out in his 5th game of league footy from the bounce. No one can come away with it at the moment. They still can't, so we'll have another ball up. Ryan Brabber's on there, easily distinguished by the mop of blonde hair. Fancy to be one of many Claremont players that will come under the eye of the scouts in the next few months. He did go to Sydney for a little while, and he's on the end of it again as it was tapped down by Stevenson. He can do nothing with it. Fighting for it on the ground was Cracker. Now Claremont get it. The kick out wide by Blackwell. Haven't seen a lot of the best and fairest and runner-up in the Sandover. Well done, Riggio. Pulled the kick back. Not so well. Coniglio dropped the mark. Now Foster to Chidsey. Off it to the run of Mitchell. Mitchell to half forward. Over the back, Spencer gets the kind bounce. Hand passes to Cracker. Gets away from Derricks. Gives it to Ames. Needs to hurry. Does. Kick floats over the head here of Pearce. With him, Brabbers on. And in the end, are more interested in each other than the footy, although neither was going to get it anyway. And it's a throw in on the northern wing.
He's a powerfully built player. Clancy Pearce, isn't he?
Yep. And good contest by Clancy Pearce so far.
It has been. Brabbers on after that exchange came off, Swift on, so the rotations are happening. Again at the stoppage, it was Toomey, but he's beaten to it on this occasion by Walton, who cleared the area all right and nearly cleared the field. Bounced just inside the white line.
Spanderman seems intent to try and whack the ball as far forward as possible. Every time there's a stoppage, he's not trying to place it to any teammates' advantage, just trying to hit it forward, and I'm not sure whether that's playing into Claremont's hands, because the Swans aren't capitalising on it at all.
He has another opportunity. Neither he nor Ruck were able to get a hand to it. Walton roads it cleverly. Hand passes to Stevenson. He had just dropped off the back of the pack and kicks on goal. That is wayward. It's gone over the line and out of bounds on the full, so the ball back into the hands of Swan District's Clancy Pearce will take the free kick. Glorious conditions, still that easterly breeze. I think we're going to have it all day as Pearce goes very, very short. Just brings it out of the shadows and finds Josh Roberts. Just indicating that he wants to hug the boundary line. but he continues to look for options. He's now called to play on by the umpire. Gets around Crawford adequately. Hand passes now to Cornelio. Shows a bit of dash, Cornelio, as he did at the other end of the ground and when he goaled a moment ago. This is Hinkley at centre half back. Continues across the ground. Spencer's run off defence for him. He's taken Derricks with him. Bad bounce for both. Spencer has another chance, but he runs into a pretty good tackle there from Andrew Brown. And the ball has, it's been wrestled over the line by those two players.
It's a fairly sizable unit, Matthew Spencer. Played with Geelong 2 games back in 2006, but he's one of the biggest men as far as bulk is concerned in this grand final. One down there by Derricks. The hand pass shot out by Gapin. Hinkley soccers it along the ground up towards the 50. Walters can't keep it in play. Michael Walters, who had a terrific last month of the season. He was finally recalled to the Dockers lineup, and he played some very good games. A lively small forward as the ball's tossed in. Whistle on play. Free kick going the way of Cracker, infringed or held off the ball. So the Sandover medalist has it. The lead coming from Spanderman out of the goal square, zigzagging the big ruckman. That's ignored. Cracker loads up with the spiral. It's going to the right off the chest of Wilkes, running and meeting it. Full-chested though in defence is Brown. Skipper for the day. Marked low down by Chidsey on the defensive 50. Comes out looking for Richardson. Protected the ball well with his body, but the other Richardson, Paul, was equally as strong and will have a throw in.
He did that very well, Richardson, for Swans. Got a good fist on it, and no harm in what he did after that, just to let him know.
Well, Richardson, that's Paul Richardson for Swans. He knows he's got a big job and he's doing it pretty well at the moment. Here he is now on the end of that tap down. He sharked it pretty well, kicks it almost to centre half forward. Hinkley, and he was taken high in the act of spinning out of trouble. He took one high, and he may give it off by hand to his lookalike here in Cornelio, but Hinkley with the free kick just forward of the centre circle, stabs it out wide to Simpson. Kicked 5 goals in the preliminary final last week against East Perth. Kicks the ball inside 50, looking there for Spanderman, knocked away from him. Trying to crash through was Robinson. Gapin now gets his hands on the footy, but it's wrestled off him by Blackwell. He in turn is knocked to the ground. It's a big scramble at centre half forward for Swan Districts. Cornelio. Now Robinson again. Roberts does well to fend off one tackle. Kicks it up very, very high. Andrew Brown camping underneath it. Spoiled by his own man in the end. Simpson knocks it out for Cornelio. He breaks clear. Can he kick a second goal? Onto the left boot, if you don't mind. The young man. Has he ever got a future? Has put Swan Districts in front with a magnificent snap at goal, and he's been very, very good around the stoppages. There's a wrestle on at centre half forward, Ryan. You saw the start of it.
Yeah, a bit of push and shove down here. Well done by Cornelio here. He just went hard at the ball, got underneath the incoming tackler. Bo Wilkes, a bit of awareness down there by the Claremont players was needed, because they actually spoiled each other, which allowed this man to rove the pack. And 3 in a row. They're on fire at the moment, Swans, and now they've hit the league.
Looking to end a 20-year drought. Their last premiership, 1990. Who did they beat? Claremont. So they're on song at the moment, having trailed by 9 points at quarter time and as much as 15 early in this term. The umpire's having a few problems.
No ruckman in the middle for Claremont too, I think you can see there.
Now that is interesting.
They're yelling at Andrew Ruck. He's gone to centre half forward.
Is going to ruck. No surprise. Spanderman wins it down. On the end of it, the skipper Robertson on the end of his kick, Simpson. That is shocking by Claremont. Hansen on the lead. Hansen can line up for make it 4 in a row. And that man there is very happy. And why wouldn't he be? Because Swans all of a sudden, Ryan Turnbull, are on the march. But how does that happen when you go into the middle with no ruckman?
Well, that's just inexcusable. I'm lost for words about exactly what's happened there. Hopefully here, Swans capitalise on it, because it's their first clear takeaway so far this game.
Hansen 5 in the preliminary final win last week. He can't get his second here. Won't have the distance. Cracker takes the mark. Andrew Cracker will be on an angle because he took it just outside the goal square, but it shouldn't be an angle that will prove too much for one of the most skilled players in the WAFL.
He knows how to find targets with missed kicks, Hansen, doesn't he? It's the second time it's happened.
In he goes, and he kicks it. From 15 points down early in the term, Swans come the 16-minute mark are 9 points up.
Cracker now 1-3 this afternoon.
Amazing the number of uncontested marks that have pretty much occurred in both teams' forward lines. That there, Andrew Cracker, you watch here, his opponent just stopped. You've got to run with your man. You've got to stick on him deep in defence and run with him the whole way. And he just thought, no, my teammate will do it. And I'm sure we'll see there is. His dad there will be absolutely delighted with the way his young son's gone about his game so far.
Yes, a very happy Jimmy Cracker played in a premiership side for Claremont in 1981, and here goes the son of the gun, wins another clearance to Hinkley, hand pass to Simpson. Well, it didn't get to him on the full. He gets a workman-like hand pass to Cornelio, having a big impact. Roach gets a hand pass now to Spencer. He puts the right boot into it. Hansen from behind flew spectacularly. Cornelio had the footy. That could have been holding the ball. Anderson got it off to Nates, or I think it was Nates, yeah. Now Blackwell, and up towards the centre wing, Starling. He lost the ball in flight there for a moment, and Spencer had it taken off him by Blackwell. I think Spencer might have thought it had gone over the line. Now Crawford fended off one tackler, then gets a hand pass into space. Roberts, with his strength of body, tried to get a hand pass away. Well, it was an errant hand pass in the end, and I think a ball in might be a pretty good result here for Swan Districts. The crowd really getting into this match. And speaking of the crowd, Ryan, 24,501 recorded at this point of time.
Good crowd, and they should be enjoying this game. Swans have got their tails up at the moment. They're going flat out at every contest. And Claremont need to settle.
Yep, and it's a very pro-Swans crowd. We heard that when Claremont ran onto the ground, the boos. Cracker rides the bump, kicks to the outer wing. Neats gathers with the one hand. Back along the boundary line. Swans queuing up. Roberts in the end takes the mark. Pops it out wide, almost too far, but Pearce able to mark on the stretch. Terrific quarter for Swans. They could find only one goal in the first term. They found 4 unanswered goals here at the 18.5-minute mark. Not sure about the wisdom of that. Pearce gives it off to his captain in Roberts, and then it's intercepted. Brown kicks forward. Awkward bounce for Foster. Tried to slap it over his head. Crawford is there. Was he taken high? Umpire says holding the ball. Free kick, no advantage. Riggio wanted to go on with it, but he'll have to go back. It wasn't Crawford. Starling. Gang tackle.
You could argue that there was advantage.
Yeah. Cullen Ames has started this game very well.
Ames low, Davis, the half volley pickup. Roberts will give it back to him. On to the youngster now, Cornelio, the only multiple goal scorer. 16-year-old. Couple of bounces, totally. Looking at ease out there as he gives it to Cracker. Cracker, the hand pass out wide. Pearce, 65 out. Well done there by Anderson. Running across the bows. It was. He should have gone over the top by hand. Now he's got too many to beat on the ground, and one of them, Blackwell, takes it out of play. Luke Blackwell, the runner-up in the best of the Sandover Medal, has been pretty quiet. 8 possessions so far. He's had the most in the league this season, averaging 31 a game, but a quiet and well-held half.
And Swan Districts lead by 9 points, ticking up toward 20 minutes into this second quarter. Grabbers on, gets the knockdown to Anderson. Hand pass further afield now to Rowe. Gets the boot into it up toward the half-forward line. Ninette takes the mark. Been a good duel between Ninette and Jetta. Ninette kicks it into the pocket. Ames is there. He's going to be penalised for holding. Now, one would think, there's the explanation. Umpire Gavin Statham said that the arm was around him, and, well, it looked to me as though they were both in it, Glenn.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had a real good grab on a jumper. He just had his arm hooked around him. But Foster did it very well. He just sort of leant into him to ensure that the umpire could see that it looked like he was being held back from going for the ball.
And this season, 41 goals, 7.
Yeah, he's a very, very good kick at goal, Andrew Foster. Been a reliable source of goal all year. Comes in and he's threaded it through. Very good goal by the Tigers. And I think I made the comment earlier on in the game, Ryan, that goal too coming against the run of play, because Claremont have had the upper hand, no doubt about that. Free kick has resulted in a Foster goal for the Tigers.
Yeah, and Ninette has been pretty important for him going forward. He seems to be a really good target across half forward. There's the free kick. Look, I actually don't think it was there. You know, he didn't really grab him, but he did have an arm hooked around him. So I guess you could say, indirectly, it wasn't a hand that held him, but his arm sort of did. But nonetheless, Foster did what Swans had to do in the first quarter, and that is make the most of every opportunity, going back and kicked a very good goal.
What a remarkable conversion. 50 shots on goal this year for 42 majors. Derricks wins it down in the middle. No one can get an advantage. Brabazon is over the top of a Swans opponent, who happens to be Wade Toomey. There's the Claremont Brains Trust. Simon McPhee in the middle of screen. His first grand final as a coach. Brian Dawson's second. Toomey, hurried kick out wide. Hinkley, Brown does cleverly. He knew that running and trailing him was his teammate Mitchell. He slapped it over his head, but Hinkley able to, it's a push in the back against Hinkley, right on the line. That was silly, because it was always going to be a boundary throw-in, but in a bit of frustration, he's given a nudge to Mitchell, who now goes backwards to Stevenson. Stevenson across the defensive 50-metre arc to Franz. Franz, who's had the job on Hansen in the first half, goes in turn then towards Anderson. Anderson short, Walton on the Tigers logo, drills it to Richardson inside 50.
Too easy.
All of a sudden, or every now and again rather, Swan Districts just seem to have a complete mental blank. They just lose concentration and things do look easy for the Tigers.
Well, that was set up then by Hinkley's silly push in the back on Mitchell on the outer wing. The ball was virtually on the line and rolling beyond it as he shoved him fair in the back. Richardson looking to become the Tigers' first multiple goal scorer. He starts at left and it never looked like coming back. So 1-1 today for Richardson. And the Tigers close to within 2 points at 23 minutes into the second term.
A couple of footies on the ground, so Riggio just has to just hold the footy in the goal square for a moment. Now he goes into the pocket, deep. Pearce is there in the shadows. Short. Casserly has taken the mark. They're hugging the boundary line, Swan Districts. He's looking across for the switch. Roach is a very short option for him. He wants to go longer than that. Doesn't kick it at all well. Made very, very poor contact. Shammer has the footy. Hand pass missed its mark. Wolfenden then gets it off to Cracker. Tumbles it up towards the centre wing. Beautiful pick up on the first bounce by Hansen. Hand pass to Spanderman. Now to Walters with pace and skill. His hand pass doesn't hit a target, but running onto it, Robinson. He gives it now to Davis. Scoring chance coming up here for Swan Districts. Keeps it low. Kicks it through the goal square. Cole Reevy and Mitchell running at the footy. And the ball too elusive. It's gone over the line and out of bounds. Right full forward pocket for Swan Districts, and Cole Reevy just, raising the hands and saying what might have been. Probably wanted better delivery than he got at that stage. 24 minutes gone, second term.
They're still continuing to struggle with their skills, aren't they, Swan Districts?
No excuses with the weather. Off the shoulder of Derricks. Davis is there. Wriggles out of a tackle. His kick goes to a nest of Tigers. Laurie, one of them, by hand to Brown. Signals he wants to dob it long. He follows up with a big kick into the path of Shammer. Shammer waiting for it to bounce kindly. Mown down from behind well by Walters. Ball in dispute on the wing. Pack over it. The umpire will ball it up. And a useless stat about today. Well, not totally useless, but in you see the tackle there on Shammer by Walters. Today is actually the 9,000th game of WAFL football. As the ball is back in motion. One down at the back by Walton. Shammer, brilliantly quick hand pass off then towards Chidsey. Chidsey to Neats, beaten by the bounce and the boundary line.
You would have seen about 8,000 of those games, wouldn't you, Glenn?
Hang on, Phil's the oldest in this commentary team, mate.
Yes, probably about 8,000, Ryan, correct. As the ball will be thrown into play right almost between right centre wing and right half forward for Claremont. Spanderman, but it's taken by Blackwell to Chidsey, who elected to knock the ball rather than take it. Not a bad decision. Pearce, though, close to the boundary line, gave it to Roach, and he has walked over the boundary line by Blackwell. An important part of the game here, Ryan. We've just gone to 25 and a half minutes in this quarter. Very, very tight on the scoreboard. One goal either way before the half-time siren would be psychologically very, very important. Spanderman took the ball out of the contest, throws the right boot into it. Ball bounces past 3 or 4 players. Hansen could run onto it. Elects to tap it to Simpson. Hand passes to the call of Cole Reevy. From one step, Cole Reevy goes long and high toward full forward. Cracker, was he taken out of the contest? Brown stands firm. It gives the hand pass to Laurie. Swan District supporters don't like it. Laurie, to Brown, whose hand pass is intercepted by Simpson. As soon as he kicked it, he knew he had miscued. Wrong side of the post. Simpson, who kicked 5 and is normally very, very reliable shooting at goal, and we see there some high contact on Cracker, but I think he tried to milk it, Ryan, for all it was worth.
Yeah, he did sort of. He could see the contact was coming, so he elected to run at it.
Ruck.
They should have got a goal out of that opportunity, Swans.
Should have. They had enough numbers in there. Ruck marked the initial kick, and he's gone short to Franz. He's playing on Hansen. Beyond 50 to Rowe. Ian Rowe on the defensive 50. Told to play on now. Goes towards centre half back. Swift will get there first. Brilliantly tackled by Cornelio, and it's holding the ball.
What a great tackle.
The 16-year-old who played state 16s last year and state 18s this year tackles his opposite number 41 and then goes inside 50 with the kick. Misses all targets. Spinning out without the footy was Laurie. Swans still a chance here to get a late goal. Claremont desperately trying to force a neutral ball contest, and they've done that just beyond the 27-minute mark. A 3-point game, and it's Swans, who weren't favoured to win this one, who have the lead.
Siren won't be far away as umpire Parry slams the ball into the turf. No clear knock away from that stoppage. Shammer got the hand pass at close quarters to Blackwell, and that was an important hand pass, but Blackwell's blind kick straight to Pierce below the scoreboard. Drives one down the flank and finds Roach. The speedster can line them up, shoots goalward, and as he could put it through, he's just missed. Wrong side of the post. Well, that would have been something had Roach been able to steer one through from that angle. Now nearly 28 minutes have gone, and Laurie chips the ball into the pocket.
They've had their opportunities in both quarters. Brown back to Richardson. Not often you see him that deep in defence. Goes on to his normally trusty left boot. Goes towards the defensive 50. Chance out there for Roach, playing for the free kick opposed to Mitchell. Rose steals it off the ground. Hand passes towards Stevenson. Stevenson brings it back inboard with the left boot. Could the Tigers get the last score? Swift, just an advance of left half back. Goes to centre half back. Richardson would normally be the man they'd be looking for now. He, though, is in defence. He kicks it out wide to Shammer. Away he goes. We know he's got good wheels. Goes short, and Ninyet marks. Jared Ninyet, who looks like he hasn't quite found the gym in his time at Claremont. He's a very wafer-thin league footballer, but highly talented. And now he goes inside. Oh, it's got to come back. Brabazon was well on the lead. In fact, Foster it was well on the lead, but the angle hadn't been set. Jared Ninyet has had a good season. 43 goals. He can't get his 44th. Missing to the right to bring the margin back to 3 points.
Well, the missed opportunities continue to be a key for both sides. It's Riggio finds Toomey, the hand pass poor. Cracker under pressure, feints with the hand pass. Now touches the ball to the ground. Now a bounce. He's out of trouble. Gets the hand pass away to Roach. A long hand pass to Spencer. Spencer's got to back into trouble. Managed to get it onto his boot, but it was taken, pinched away really by Swift, who now turns defence into attack. Stevenson, short, diving effort by Cracker, just couldn't hang on to the footy. Swooping on it, Richardson gives it on to Stevenson, who's run hard. Into the pocket he goes, looking for Foster, who got into the back of the
There's a free kick at half forward for Swan Districts.
There's something on here.
Well, there's been 2 skirmishes in the centre square then while the ball was going forward. Sounds like a Mumbai roundabout at the moment with the whistles.
The players would have no idea down in Claremont's forward 50 what's happening.
Walters and Walton were wrestling on this wing, and there are about 5 players wrestling where the free kick now is going to go to Simpson.
Well, I think Ames had infringed against Foster. They were going to get a free kick, but this free kick is right up on centre wing, which Simpson uses with a hand pass to Roach. Takes a bounce. Roach through a few Claremont players, goes into the pocket, Hansen the target. He loves his chest marks, and he's been able to protect the ball again with his substantial body. The Swan District supporters really enjoying this. With 30.5 minutes gone, Ryan, this will probably be the last shot at goal in this quarter.
Yeah, you wouldn't think there'd be too many opportunities after here, and interesting chain of events there. All from, I think it was Matt Spencer got involved early on the half-forward line for Swans with the opponent, and now there's a shot on goal here for this man.
Saw some concern on the face of Simon McPhee. a few things to think about, especially if Hansen goes back and kicks this one. Oh, it's another poster right on the siren. Will that come back to haunt Swan Districts? Siren has gone for half-time. Long break here at the 2010 Grand Final. It has been very entertaining. Swan Districts, 5 goals, 10-40, leading the Tigers by 4 points. Claremont a 5-6, 36.
Richardson, a pair of them playing on one another, getting a hand on it. Spencer at the back. Rory Walton gathers and with a check sign gets the goal for the Tigers. Pearce's kick over the head of Hansen, but he's got the best recovery. Confronted by Wilkes, bounces the hand pass to Robinson. Over the top he goes. Should be a goal. Walters nails it. In he goes and he kicks it from 15 points down. Half-time in the 2010 Grand Final, and that would have been an interesting bet pre-game. Who'd be the only multiple goal scorer at half-time? It's Stephen Cornelio. In just his 5th game, he's still 16 years of age, but both his goals coming in that quarter, in fact, the space of about 7 minutes, while the Tigers still looking for a multiple goal scorer. Instantly there, Ash Hansen, 1 goal. In the last 2 weeks, in 6 quarters of footy, he has kicked something like 6 goals, 8, and 3 of his behinds have hit goalposts, including 2 today. So it was a 9-point lead to the Tigers at quarter time. They're down by 4 now at the long break. So it is a very entertaining grand final before the best crowd we've had to wrap up a WAFL season since 2002. It may get to around 25,000 by the conclusion of the game. And we still don't know by the conclusion, Ryan, who's going to be the team that is going to hold up the cup. It's awfully close.
Oh, look, it's a real arm wrestle at the moment. For a big part of that quarter, Swans were all over Claremont. You know, they kicked 4 goals in a row. Claremont got that late goal just to steady it. But, you know, the Swans are playing great football, but those opportunities are really hurting them. I still think that Claremont have got a bit more in the tank, and it'll be interesting this the third quarter, the all-telling third quarter.
Well, they have been a terrific side so far this year, the Tigers. Can they maintain the momentum? They've lost just 2 games and drawn 1 through the home and away, but 1 loss and the draw was against Swan Districts. And at half-time here, the margin stands at 4 points in favour of Swans. Well, on Monday night, we had the count for the 2010 Sandover Medal. We know the result, and quite interestingly, not long after the opening bounce, we saw the runner-up go and try and tackle the winner on the outer side with Cracker playing on Blackwall. But let's relive now some of the count and some of the reaction to Andrew Cracker's Sandover Medal victory on Monday night, the week leading in to the 2010 Grand Final.
Welcome to halftime of the football. Well, as you can see, tonight's a very special night. It's Sandover Medal night. A night of celebration where the who's who of WA football get together in the lead up to the WA 2010 Grand Final.
It's a night for the players to let their hair down and for their partners to take centre stage.
Hayden, what's Sandover Medal night mean to you tonight?
I think it's an opportunity to recognise the best player in the competition. Obviously it's got a long tradition. There's plenty of prestige involved. So whoever wins it, it's a massive feather in the cap.
Talon, as a player that has to play on the weekend in the grand final, what's Sandover Medal night mean for you?
Yeah, look, Sandover Medal is really about celebrating the great performances that have been happening over the year, and playing on the weekend. We've really got to make sure that we uphold this night. It's a fantastic night for WAFL. It's a fantastic night for all the players, and of course the girls to get out and strut their stuff too. But our heads are definitely switched on for this Sunday, and have a good night, enjoy each other's company, and turn it on come Sunday.
Andrew, Sandover Medal night, what do you think it means to the players?
Oh, look, it's an outstanding individual award for the player, for the work that he's put in, the sacrifices and the passion that he's showing. It's a magnificent award, and the McGarry Medal, the Sandover Medal, they're right up there with the Brownlow Medal. So whoever wins it tonight, it's a special day for the individual.
3-time medalist Barry Cable, 64, 68 and 73. Phil Narker was the Sandover medalist in 1982.
The Sandover Medal night is a night to honour past and current winners and welcome them into the Sandover Medal Club.
South Fremantle's Toby McGrath.
Anthony, 3 years on since you've won the Sandover Medal. What did it mean to you back then?
Oh, it was a fantastic night. It was something that I watched growing up as a kid, all the legends winning it. It was on Channel 7 back then, but yeah, so to actually be up there and winning it myself was a fantastic night for me and really memorable. And I'll look forward to coming every year and seeing the old boys, and obviously I'll get older as the years go by.
You know, it's a massive honour, and I think it's just a combination of a real solid year. It obviously doesn't take 1 or 2 games to win it. You've got to be quite consistent over the year, and it's something I'd like to pride myself on. So obviously, yeah, a huge honour and something at the end of your career you really look back and cherish.
It's just I suppose it's just a prestigious award, you know, and I feel really proud to have won it, you know, and to come to nights like this and stand next to the likes of you know, John Todd and Barry Cable and those type of guys, and Polly Farmer, is just you know, it's awe-inspiring almost, I think.
Look, it's an outstanding night, and the winner tonight, no doubt, whoever it will be, he'll be beside himself, and it's a great feeling, it's a great night, and it's a big occasion, and hopefully we maintain that forever.
Before the count has even got underway, one of the hot favourites for the night, Chad Jones, had already taken out the Bertie Naylor medal for the leading goal kicker of the season. With an impressive 85 goals.
Jones, can he kick his third? Well, it's applauded from almost the moment it left his boot.
Claremont's captain Clancy Rutherford accepts the medal on his behalf. When the count got underway, it didn't take long to see who was in the hunt for this year's Sandover.
Claremont versus West Perth. 1 vote Claremont, Tom Swift. 2 votes Claremont, Bo Wilkes. 3 votes Claremont, Chad Jones. 4 votes Claremont, Ryan Brabazon. And 5 votes Claremont, Luke Blackwell.
After round 6, it's an even playing field for the favourites Luke Blackwell, Chad Jones and Will Schofield, all with 10 votes. The surprise so far was that the favourite for the medal was not amongst the leaders. The next 10 rounds saw Claremont's Luke Blackwell and Chad Jones change leads. But at round 15, it was Swan District's Andrew Cracker who had taken the lead with a 3-point margin. After 19 rounds, Andrew Cracker has secured 34 votes, and his closest contender, Luke Blackwell and Chad Jones, had 28 votes each.
Andrew Cracker, 5 votes for his 27 touches and 4 goals.
Rounds 20 to 23 sees the night's favourite extend his lead over his closest rivals.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2010 Sandover Medal from the Swan Districts Football Club on 44 votes is Andrew Cracker.
I now have great pleasure on behalf of the Sandover family in presenting you with the Sandover Medal for the fairest and best player for the 2010 season.
I think I knew pretty early that Andrew Cracker was going to take it out, so I sort of braced myself for that, or just didn't really worry too much about it. So it's a great effort by Andrew. He had a great season.
Brian, a very proud moment for Andrew Cracker and the Swan Districts Football Club. What have you got to say about that?
Oh, it's just great. It's just a fabulous reward for the effort that he's put in, not only in his football but in his work through the club as well. He's been absolutely terrific for the group to be playing with him, but also his work off the field with the club has been superb, and he's really embraced everything that has come his way this year, and it's just a great reward for a guy who's been through some hard times, and it's great to see him come out the other end.
It has been a fairy tale end to the night for Andrew Cracker, with an outstanding season behind him.
Kiss the medal or something?
A little bit overwhelmed, and it's a very humbling experience. So, yeah, like I said, it's a little bit surreal at the moment, mate.
Is there any aspirations to play AFL? I know it'll take care of itself, but you must have aspirations yourself of maybe giving it another crack?
Oh, mate, I just love playing footy, and if something come up at that level, well, we'll see how we go. But yeah, I just love playing footy.
What next for the Sandover medalists?
Oh, mate, like I said just before, we just got to prepare. We've got this night, like I said, it's great honour, and I'm very privileged to have won this award. But yeah, tomorrow we've just got to get ready and get ready for training. We've got Claremont this week, so like I said, we've got to go through our structures and see what we're going to do to try to overcome a powerhouse, which is Claremont.
Thanks, mate.
With his football future assured, Andrew Cracker now joins an elite list of WAFL legends.
And that was the 2010 Sandover Medal presentation. What a great winner, what a worthy winner. Andrew Cracker now puts his name in WA football history.
He was a very worthy winner, and he's been a very influential player again for Swan Districts here in the first half of the 2010 WAFL Grand Final. Alas for Swans, though, some goalmouth inaccuracy has kept their lead at half-time to just 4 points. They only kicked 1 goal in the opening quarter to the Tigers 3, and it was the minor premier and the raging favourite to win the Grand Final today, Claremont, out by 9 points at quarter time. Back to the second half action in a moment, but our cameras have been out and about, as you'd expect, throughout the 23 rounds of the home and away season. And let's have a look at some of the best marks that our cameraman caught at all the grounds around the league in 2010.
Centering kick, a high ball. Oh, they need a mark and they get one towards centre half. Oh, Broadhurst, what a mark he's taken. Actually, Brown attacks the ball brilliantly. That is a great mark by Zach Clark.
A great mark taken there by Possum.
And Crawford running the same way as the footy. Oh, what a great mark coming from behind. Threw himself into the contest. That's a great effort by Stephen Dodd.
Big leap, big mark.
It gives it to Young, spearing kick up to the lead of Ferguson, who's taken a great mark.
And a mark taken by Ashton Hams. Kyle Hams back in 50.
Oh, mark.
That's a mark.
That's the mark of the day.
Oh, Cracker takes the mark. The hand pass then to Clutterbuck. Long inside, 50, good grab. Slides across the face, big leap. And a mark to McKinley.
Kicks up towards had to sit on Rumble.
Oh, well done, Muzungu. McLeod goes to centre half back and a big leap. The mark taken by Oakley Nichols.
Come to that, and there's a great mark from Pryor. But he died in the effort there by Richardson. That was brilliant. Long kick to the half forward. Big back. What a mark taken by Pryor. Onto a big pack, and Richardson in front.
One-handed attempt and taken.
He goes long to the goal square. One-handed taken by Young. What a mark. Anton Salo, and he has taken a spectacular mark.
Some of the great grabs that our cameras have caught around the grounds in the home and away season of 2010. Well, so far today, we've seen only one multiple goal scorer in the WAFL Grand Final to half-time. And believe it or not, he's just 16 years of age, Stephen Canelio, a man with a massive future. And one of the goals he kicked in that second quarter may well be one of, if not, the goal of the Grand Final. But speaking of goals, let's have a look at the best that 2010 has provided in the WAFL.
Batty reads it cleverly, screws it into the goal square, kicks an amazing goal. Zanetti couldn't take the mark, Chambers is there, cleverly off the boot, that's another one.
The last line of defence, Bairstow, freak shot on goal by Collier, and he's got it.
Releases a hand pass to White, White throws from the left boot, that's a great goal. Ben Colreevy's already kicked one long goal, and this one's gone through from 60. That's more than 60. Trips with speed, backs himself, one bounce, gets to the 50, long on goal, holds its line, that's it. Now here's a chance at the back four. He missed it. McClintock missed everything, but I'll tell you who didn't, Ben Burlow. Here's a chance, still footed in the pocket, snapped by Richardson. He flips one up to Sakirka. Sakirka breaks one tackle, spins out of another, dribbles it off the left boot for a goal. Fisted away by Murray. Kayanga a chance on Kayanga. Rows it cleverly. Can he kick a goal? He can.
Geepin's on the end of it. Tight angle. He tries to do a Stephen Mill, and he's done it.
Howard is there. He runs to about 53 metres. Goes disappointingly. Oh, you kidding me? No. Wolf swoops on it. Now Wolf steps to goal. He's burned. going in there with strike. He was spun around once. Now he snaps on goal. This is going to be close. This is the goal.
Into the path here of Ashton Hans on his preferred left side. Nails it on the run. Clears the ruckman. Mazungu gets it, snaps and goals.
Now Alistair Pickett. Look at the brilliance of Ali Pickett as he gathers the footy at spoon and kicks another lifting goal. Richardson goes for the soccer and soccers brilliantly. He tumbles it in towards the forward pocket. Pullman in the target, but he couldn't take the mark. Oh, cracker. Somehow he got his hands on it. Somehow he got to his feet, weaves around, weaves his magic and finishes off the game with probably one of the best solo efforts for the whole afternoon.
Some of the magic there of the Sandover medalist Andrew Cracker finishing our Goal of the Year package. Well, it's an exciting grand final, perhaps not living up to it on the scoreboard as far as goals are concerned, ideal conditions, but often that's the way in grand finals. It's the defensive aspects of the respective teams that really come to the fore. So far, it's a 9-point lead to Claremont at quarter time, but now at half time, it's a 4-point lead to Swan Districts. Could it be a fairy tale farewell to Bassendean for Brian Dawson? His third year as coach in his inaugural year, he took Swans to the grand final, finals appearances last year and a grand final and a tilt at a flag again today. Unfortunately for Swan Districts fans, he won't be at the helm next year with work commitments taking him overseas during the period of the next WAFL season. Let's have a look now at some of the highlights in the opening half of the 2010 grand final. Swans at the moment are up by 4 points.
And there's no doubt, Ryan, that Claremont certainly settled a lot more quickly than Swan Districts, and it was probably some of their lesser lights, certainly more of the more irregular goal scorers who chipped in early. Nick Chidsey got the first goal of the game, and then Nick Derricks a little bit later on was a goal scorer for Tom Derricks, I should say, a goal scorer for Claremont.
Yeah, it was their support cast, so to speak, that really sort of created the opportunities and caused the damage early. And this is the story so far, I think, of the game, was Swan Districts' inability to convert up forward. A couple of posters by Ash Hansen. Cracker ran into two goals here, and here's one of them now. And that should have been a goal and misses. So you just hope that, if they're going to lose this game, they lose by a big margin, not by a couple of points, because it could hurt them towards the end of the game.
And here's Ash Hansen having another shot at goal. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. He's kicked, I think, is it 2 posters so far today he's got. And look, I guess 9 times out of 10 you'd say that some of those goals he would get, Ryan, but the important thing for Swan Districts is that he's actually getting his hands on the footy. Swan Districts players are having quite a bit of success getting the ball to him. That was Rory Walton making a goal out of half an opportunity there. That was the very first goal of the second quarter, and it came within the first 30 seconds of the quarter, but after that it was all Swan Districts. They really took up the running, and that was a clever hand pass by Hansen, and they finish off here a very good goal by Michael Walters.
Yeah, that's right, Phil. From that point on, they kicked the next 3 goals and really had a stranglehold on the game. We're looking like they were going to sort of run away with it. And you'll see the next one here. Just this guy here kicks the next 2 goals. Cornelio, I haven't seen much of him, but certainly explosive, lays a really good tackle late in the game. So he's going to be a player to watch in the future. Bit of ill communication by the Claremont players there. Bo Wilkes should have sort of stopped and let his teammate mark it. And there he is again, snapping a goal, probably one of the goals of the game.
Yeah, 2 goals to young Stephen Cornelio, and there are the quarter-by-quarters. As Glenn said earlier, Claremont 9 points by leading at quarter time, but a 13-point turnaround in that second quarter, and Swan Districts holding sway by just 4 points. And there is Shammer doing extremely well. He's had 12 possessions. Richardson with 9. Stevenson chipping in. Walton's kicked a goal. Swift and Foster are doing pretty well. Crawford up forward, and Chidsey kicked the first goal of the game. And for Swan Districts, well, Cracker, 21 possessions, if you don't mind. And Hansen's only kicked 1 goal, 3. Roach probably needs to get a bit more of it. Pierce and Roberts have been very, very busy. Hinkley, Davis and Simpson. And there they are, the quarter-by-quarters, Ryan, and it was a bit of an imbalance at quarter time as far as the kicks and handballs went, but certainly evened up in that second quarter.
Yeah, it certainly has evened up. The real concern still is the centre breaks. 9 to 3 that quarter. Although it was 4 to 3 to Claremont's favour, so they have started to get it out inside 50s. Again Claremont up, but it's all pretty square.
Well, let's go downstairs and see what's been happening at ground level. Todd and Rod.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. And why wouldn't it be a great game down here, Todd? It's perfect conditions, great crowd, and also a close game. And, there's plenty left in this game at the net. And I know that I got down into the Swans room, and they're still, boys, very, very confident of winning this game. I think they actually changed a little bit of their game plan there. In the first quarter, we all noticed how they overused the ball and missed targets. And I think that quarter, they actually started winning more of the contested ball and actually started to go long. We mentioned Ashley Hansen getting into the game, and I think that Gapin is as well. He's taking a good player away from the corridor, and he's still playing and doing his thing as the team and the coach would want. So expect him to pick up as the game goes on. You've mentioned Cracker. Well, he's already trying to put his name on the Simpson medal to go with the Sandover that he won during the week, and he's just having a real big impact on this game. You can imagine if they would have actually kicked a little bit better in that first half, Todd, he would have kicked straight and kicked those couple of goals. They'd certainly be a little bit in front at this stage.
Yeah, Andrew Cracker's been sensational, 21 possessions. I couldn't get into the rooms at Claremont half-time. They had a lockout. That was actually pre-planned, so Simon McPhee is not panicking. He wouldn't be too happy with his team's discipline, I don't think, Rod. They've given away a few silly free kicks when they're going forward, and they had a scoring opportunity, silly free kick, turnover to Swans. But I think one player which obviously needs to get back into it, or get into it more, is Luke Blackwell. He's been well held, I think, by Wade Toomey. But this game is here for the grabbing, so let's hope we have another good second half.
Indeed, and Luke Blackwell to quarter time, the reigning best and fairest and runner-up in the Sandover medal, just the 6 kicks and 4 handballs, 1 mark, so 10 disposals against a season average of 31. He was the leading disposal winner throughout the home and away season, so 31 on average and just 10 to half-time. And Ryan Turnbull, as Todd Ridley mentioned, Claremont will be looking for a bit more output from him in the next half.
Oh, they need it. They really need his ability in the midfield to get his hands on the ball and use it well. And they haven't had it. And if he can find the ball in this second half, it will go a long way to Claremont staking claim for this premiership. But at the moment, being very well held by Toomey.
Yeah, Toomey on there. On him, we just saw a moment ago, a fairly relaxed Simon McPhee still. He knows his team has the goods. Now, too many men in. No, there's a free kick
against you.
Off the ball.
Yeah, it was on the wing.
Silly,
in front of us here.
Against Casserly on Brabazon. So the free kick goes the way of Derricks in the middle. He lobs it out towards Shammer, who saw a fair bit of the footy in the first half. He's got 3 to beat, and in the end he shins it over the line. Swans bench first. Let's go down to Rod Willett.
Yeah, thanks very much, Glenn. We got Brett Wolferton, Brett Robinson, Stephen Caniglio and Clayton Hinkley.
Ball tossed in on the outer side. We'll check the Tigers bench at the next stoppage. Over the back goes Derricks. Running onto it there is Ninyet. And as they get the free kick and the ball back, let's check the Tigers bench.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. We've got Neitz, Ruck, Walton and Rowe all starting for the Tigers.
So Brabazon getting his second free kick in the opening minute. This time he'll take it himself. Ryan Brabazon told he's got to play on now, so the man on the mark, Casserly, runs at him and effects a partial smother. It dribbles out to Swift at half forward, hand passing back in the direction of Stevenson, knocked away by Swans Davis, who follows up with a good tackle, allows Cole Reevy in, but the ball goes out of play. A bit of sloppiness there by Claremont after getting the free kick. He took too long, having been called to play on, and the man on the mark, Casserly, was able to smother.
Yes, and he needed to do something to get his confidence up, because he had conceded a couple of free kicks as Roberts took it, but gave it straight to Shammer, shares it with Brabazon, and now Blackwell. Could he come into this game in the second half as Spencer sees the ball safely over the line and out of bounds? There's David Crawford. Has not played a big part in the game so far, but a player who has the ability to swing a match. Bound to be thrown at right half forward. Won by Derricks, sharking it there. Jetta, can he get his hands on it? He can, but he can't get a disposal away. Norcan Cracker, it was blanketed off his boot. Going in after it now is Crawford. He's tackled by Toomey, and the umpire waits. The ball won't reappear, and umpire Gavin Statham says, give it to me. Well, they call the third quarter the premiership quarter. You can see what a great crowd's in here, Ryan. They've been entertained, but so often the team that is able to get the upper hand in the third quarter, it is just so important, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. And getting a couple of early goals in this quarter can really unsettle the opposition.
This is Swift, who sharked it nicely, gets a kick away under duress and finds Anderson. Backs back into the centre circle. Now delivers to the half-forward line. On the lead, there was Richardson. Richardson over the top of Richardson. Now it goes back to Ninyet. Hand passes to Wilkes. Gives it back to Ninyet. I don't think he really wanted it, but he finds Stevenson running at goal. Kicks long into the goal square. No mark taken. No, it's going to be a free kick. Free kick against Swan Districts. Chidsey is the player I think has been infringed, and umpire Parry has said that he pushed him in the front. I'm not too sure that there was a lot more that Pierce could have done, but so often you see that that is free kick, Ryan.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that your intention's the ball. Interesting, Bo Wilkes has started deep in the forward line in this second quarter, and so is Andrew Foster. And Andrew Foster's playing on Matt Riggio. And Matt Riggio last week gave them a lot of drive across half-back, so they're obviously trying to push him as far away from the contest as possible.
This is Chidsey. He's already kicked one. In fact, it was the first goal of the grand final. Left full forward pocket, makes no mistake about it, so Claremont draw first blood 3.5 minutes into the third quarter, and with that goal they pinch the lead.
Yeah, it's sort of a funny start to this third quarter. Obviously Swans were told again to get out there and ruffle a few feathers, and Brabazon was one of them. They must have highlighted because they're two silly free kicks. But there was a free kick there. You've just got to make sure that you're twisting your body at the right time to try and hit the ball. You can't have any eyes not on the ball. The umpire will pay a free kick, pretty much 95% of the time. And Nicholas Chidsey, not a noted goal scorer, but 2 goals in the grand final has been a good game for him.
Indeed, the first goal of each half, and Claremont back in front. Spanderman in the ruck. It will be another recall. We've seen a lot of crooked bounces today.
But the interesting thing is there's probably been 3 or 4 that have gone outside the circle as well, which they've let it go.
Using their discretion.
Yeah.
Thrown up the second time. One down by Derricks, taken away by Shammer. Hurried left-footed towards Crawford. Steepling bounce. Oh, he does a big tennis serve. In towards half-forward. Out comes Richardson. Tackled. Outside him is Chidsey. He's taken to ground by Roach. Got it out to Mitchell. He finds a bit of space. Left-footer on goal. It's gone through. 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of the third quarter. And the Tigers all of a sudden are out to a handy break of 8 points.
And again, some of those guys that aren't sort of the key players. Good handball there by Richardson just to get it to his teammates' advantage, although it was under enormous pressure. And Mitchell just getting around onto his, left boot there, a very awkward kicking style. Great knock-on by Crawford earlier into space just to put Claremont into a more attacking area, and Swans under enormous pressure. Awesome start by Claremont in this third quarter, and Swans really need to get that ball moving forward quickly.
Yes, I just wonder whether or not Swan Districts have come out with not enough of their focus on the footy and more on the player. Derricks led too easily, but still got a hand to it. Blackwell trying to find his way through the traffic. Davis has it, but he was taken in a standing tackle. So there'll be a restart. Well, Swans need another one pretty quickly. 4-point lead has turned into an 8-point deficit. Almost in a trice. Derricks again wins it. Blackwell gets his hands on it and releases a hand pass into the path of Mitchell, the previous goal scorer. He feeds it to Ninette. Another score coming up. Ninette from 45 metres, slightly across the face. Ball bounces into the pocket, then over the boundary line. There is Bo Wilkes, as Ryan said, he's gone deep. And very interesting duel between those two, Jetta and Ninette. And probably you'd say a bit of a line ball at the moment. So boundary throw in. 4 or 5 paces around from the left-hand behind post. Derricks again. Lurking there is a Jetta. He was taken high. Again. He'll know he's played a grand final this afternoon, will Graham Jetta. Sends the ball to the southern side. Roberts has made position for him. Richardson standing the mark. Roberts will want to get on with it quickly. He's got Michael Walters all the way down from the forward line. He's been predominantly playing as a forward. Beautiful raking pass to the lead of Gapin, and that was a superb foot pass.
Now Gapin should get into the game because Bo Wilkes has gone forward, and he did a good job on him in the first half.
Gapin to Hansen. Now both Gapin and Hansen a long way from goal. Hansen wants to play on quickly, right up on left centre wing. Sends the ball inside, attacking 50. Crawford comes over the top with a spoil. Lands in the arms there of Simpson. He kicks into the pocket. Toomey was there, but he couldn't quite take the mark, and Starling double fists it through for Swan District's first score of the second half. It's a rush behind.
Playing on to his own advantage now, coming out of the goal square is the former dual best and fairest and Sandover medalist Shane Barros. The Swans' former captain looks on. But, the kick not overly productive by Anderson after he played on out of the goal square. Shane Barros, who was a late bloomer at WAFL level from the West Coast Junior Footy Club, or Senior Footy Club, in fact, he was playing amateurs. What a captain he was. The ball tossed in. Well, that was almost a throw, I would have thought, by Toomey. Got away with it. Claremont, clearing kick. by Shammer out wide, 2-on-1. Swans couldn't mark through Ames, but mopping up off the deck, Walters. Good kick into the path of Riggio. He's got Tigers converging from several angles. Can't gather at the first attempt. Colreevy comes out. Mr. Mitchell on the attempt to shepherd. Riggio over the footy, and it's going to be a baller. Swans probably should have done better there and won possession, although that fan is quite happy that they didn't.
Well, there was a good kick by Walters, really, but it just wouldn't bounce up for Riggio.
No. Ball back in motion again. Neither ruckman effective. Shammer, solid. Shovels out the ball. Cracker, 21 disposal opening half. Can't come away with it there on the ground. And again, the umpire called in to break it up.
On the southern side, nearly 9 minutes gone in the third quarter. Still only 7 points in this grand final. We've got the first blood rule to be invoked for this afternoon. And unfortunately for Swan Districts, it's Andrew Cracker. Now, I think he was came off with the blood rule on a couple of occasions last Saturday.
Up with the headband.
Yeah, he did. So Cracker coming off, and Claremont taking the opportunity to make 3 changes. So Ruck, Rowe and Walton have come on, and we see Nick Natnui in the crowd there. Obviously started his career with Swan Districts, and he would be very, very interested in the outcome of this match.
Sorry, Phil, looks like he's got a knock or a kick to the top of the head there. It's bleeding, but they should be able to strap it up and they'll be okay.
Patch it up, and well, hopefully they've got the same headband he had last week, and they can get him straight back on. Ruck in the contest, but it was Jet who got his hands on it, gave it to Toomey. Hand pass went astray. Through goes Brabazon. He couldn't get a clear disposal. Now Walters and Simpson. Simpson gets his hands on the footy, onto the left boot, kicks it across the face, almost to mark there to Hansen. He just couldn't control it, and it has gone over the line and out of bounds for a boundary throw in right full forward for Swan Districts, and they really need to make something of this, Ryan. They need to make more of their opportunities than they did in the first half.
Yeah, they need to get a goal here just to keep them in touch.
There's the boundary throw in. Walters trying to find the footy. Anderson is there. He walks into a tackle and is dispossessed.
Take it easy on the way up, boys. Nothing high.
And we can see Andrew Cracker there. They're just trying to stem the blood flow initially before they put something that they can stick to it and then wrap him up, you would expect. Umpire Hendry bounces the footy, won by Derricks. The kick away by Blackwell, high, blind one. It goes straight to Richardson, who's had the job on Ian Richardson this afternoon. Paul Richardson, centering kick, good spoil by Swan Districts, although it went straight to Roberts. Couldn't get a lot of distance in the kick, forced to go very high. Simpson underneath it, takes the uncontested mark. Well, he was camped underneath it for a long, long time. No one wanted to go to him, and there are some excited Swan District supporters in the crowd because Simpson goes to point-blank range, kicks a goal, and while they were forward, they really did need to get one for their confidence, and they've done that, Ryan.
They certainly did. There was a much-needed goal. Again, an uncontested mark close to the goals. And to make matters worse, and I know he would have kicked the goal, no Claremont player stood on the mark. They all just walked off as if to say, oh, well, he's taking a mark, he's going to kick a goal. Good front and square here by Roberts. He jammed it on the boot, didn't travel that far, but look at that. No one went up. And if it played on here, they all just wander off, and he just runs straight in. No one standing there. So good play by Simpson. Good goal for Swans. And we're back to a one-point ball game.
Can't believe you'd mark that on your chest in the goal square, and a defender couldn't get a fist on it. It was kicked so high in the air. So a 1-point margin in favour of the Tigers. Spanderman stayed down opposed to Ruck, won it, but 3 players wanted to grab it. Blackwell, Toomey and Roberts. And we'll have another ball up. Claremont led by 9 points at quarter time. Swans by 4 points at half time. Fickle bounce, Chidsey, Walton. Interesting looking hand pass out to Rowe. Rowe then goes wide looking for Neat. Started the second half on the bench. Takes the tumbling mark. 2 kicks out from the goal line. The lead there by Foster ignored. Neats now goes short. Richardson on the lead, takes the mark. And left footer is in his favoured pocket. Lining up for his second today and his 60th goal of the season. Still remains a mystery to me why he hasn't been recruited. He was the best and fairest with 62 goals in 2008, 44 last year, and aiming for 60 this season. Very talented small forward, yet to get picked up on an AFL list, and he drags that one to the near side to double Claremont's lead and give him a return of 1-2 in the grand final.
Will the mystery continue, Glenn, after this year's draft one wonders with Richardson? As Pierce kicks the ball into play, looking there for Ames. He doesn't let him down, takes a good solid mark. The hand pass to Toomey. Toomey thought about a handball, maybe should have given it off. Now he's in bother. The kick is a poor one. He put himself under pressure. Turnover goes to Swift. He's got two options in the middle of the ground. One of them is Andrew Ruck. The other one was Rowe. Ruck took the mark, kicks the ball looking for Mitchell. Roberts fell over. Great second effort. They've got the numbers, but it doesn't matter. Walton now picks up the loose ball and kicks it intelligently high and into the path of Mitchell, who has got a chance to kick his second.
Josh Roberts, I mean, he's almost taken a mark while being seated, but just couldn't find his feet to get up. But Mitchell here's had a pretty good start to this third quarter.
This is very close to the area where Richardson was a moment ago and missed. So Mitchell comes in at the set shot. Over the top Claremont play, but it's come off hands and will go through for a rush behind.
Andrew Cracker ready to come back on the ground, guys.
Yeah, Mitchell has had the job on Roach for most of the day. We haven't seen a lot of Tom Roach today.
No, and he's one player that they really would like to get his hands on the ball because he's got explosive speed.
Clancy Pierce comes out looking for Gapin, Spanderman or Toomey. Three big Swans there, but a push in the back. The free kick was to Toomey. Gee, there seemed to be a large break in play before Gapin was told that he could go on with the advantage. He found Simpson, and now he goes back to Gapin. Now Hansen is tracking back inside the attacking 50. They square it, and on the edge of the centre square, Toomey hand passes off to the speed machine. Roach goes deep to left, full forward. Cornelio is almost pushed in the back, I would have thought, down there by Ruck. No whistle, in fact it was Hinkley. Out come the Tigers. Brown, how does the umpire view that? Throw it in. Hand pass went over the line of the full, but it'll be a boundary throw in.
Let's have a look at that push there. I think it was incidental to the play, I would have thought, Glenn. And probably good umpiring, as it turns out. Now, there's a lot of players around this boundary throw-in. Inside attacking 50 for Swans. Ruck from behind. Rowe controlled it well and got the hand pass to Walton. Just guided it down onto one boot with his hand. Came off the chest of a Claremont player, but lands with Mitchell. Tumbles at about 15 metres. Ames has it, though. Hand passes to Spanderman. Another one to Wolfenden. He's found Hinkley just forward of the centre. Delicate little pass to Toomey, who's at right half forward. Gets the ball onto his boot. Long kick on goal. Has it got the direction? It hasn't. It's gone through for a behind. Well, even a boundary throw might have been a better result because Claremont have now got it, and Ian Rowe has been found in the shadows of the grandstand between right full back and right half back.
Interesting, Claremont have taken two of their major goal scorers off in Foster and Richardson.
Maybe saving them up. Rowe's kick, however, was an errant one. It's gone to Ames. Ames stabs it into Cracker, who's come back on with that now familiar head bandage. He had it on for a fair bit of last week. Cracker to full forward. Over the back was Gape, and didn't take it cleanly. He can snap a goal from here. Onto the right boot. Bends it. Goalward. Wrong side of the post. It's a one-point ball game again. Quite extraordinary. You could see what Tim Gapin was thinking, almost executed perfectly, but another behind in Claremont with the ball through Ian Rowe.
They kick 1 goal, 6 lately, turnover looking for Brabazon. Gapin won't miss from there. Horrible effort by Ian Rowe. Dear oh dear. And Gapin the recipient, and he gets his first goal of the grand final, 68 for the season. And that drives the Swans fans into delirium. Have a look at the replay. He set it up way too high for Brabazon, and Gapin just put an exclamation mark at the end of Rowe's very errant sentence. That was a shock.
Yeah, terrible. Cracker picked one off early in a similar sort of play where it's deep, or this was from a kick in. Good
of the Swan District's players to go and sympathise with Rowe there.
Yeah.
Back in the middle, umpire Parry to ball it up. Swan Districts leading by 5 points. 17 minutes have just gone in the third quarter. Ruck and Spanderman. There's a whistle and it's a holding decision going the way of Swan Districts. Just getting the breaks at the moment, Swans. Roberts waits for the run. Comes from Riggio. Driving kick inside 50. Waiting for it. There was Hansen. Getting in front of him now, Franz. Tackled by Ash Hansen. The ball spilt. Tackle lingered, or rather the umpire said it was a push in the back, and it's going to go the way of Franz. Goes into the pocket. Actually conceded a little bit of ground, as does Brown, to go back to the goal square. Jess Laurie will turn 20 on Tuesday. Will he be celebrating the grand final win At this stage, it is really in the balance as Ninette has taken the mark, goes high and wide to centre wing. Brabbers on control it beautifully. Wants to play on, does, gets the hand pass to Rory Walton, chasing him Pierce, but Walton's kick is a terrible one, landed short of the intended mark, and it's taken by Toomey. Hand pass to Cracker, Cracker kicks it to do a 2-on-1. The Wolfenden got him with the back, probably needlessly of Starling, and has given away a free kick. Probably didn't need to do that. They had the numbers 2-1 and just gave it up far too easily, as we see it in replay.
He lined himself up to really try and get the ride there, and he didn't have to. He just had to hold his ground.
Starling out wide, Cracker again steals it. Outmarks the ruckman.
I can hear the engraving machine there.
Andrew Ruck just stood there and allowed Cracker to slide in. And meanwhile, he's gone short to Spanderman.
He's a class above, isn't he?
So surely he'll be back on an AFL list. In fact, the Eagles are very keen. Maybe with pick 4. As he goes high towards Hanson, Spanderman couldn't take the mark. Spillage grabbed there by Toomey. A check side to full forward. Another behind. 7-14, plays 7-8.
Doesn't sound like the scoreline you want to have, but they're just holding sway at the moment. It's really one straight kick to Swan Districts at the moment as Laurie has the footy, urged to play on by the umpire and does that to the outer side. Kicked it to a contest, and Franz does better in the air on that occasion and has outmarked Toomey. Had the job for the entire day on Hanson. Hand pass a little untidy. Rowe, however, has plenty of time as he sprints into the centre square. Delivers out wide on the centre wing to Ninette, who got well away from Davis on that occasion. Squaring kick from Ninette, bends away from Lewis Stevenson. He gets a good shepherd from Rowe. The ball ends up with Blackwell. Stevenson now on the receiving end of the hand pass. Goes to Wilkes, but over the top of his head. They've got Derricks there to Mitchell. Centering kick from Mitchell. Oh, into the goal square. Will it bounce through? It won't. In fact, Richardson will see it through for rushed behind. That's Paul Richardson for the Black and Whites. Quickly into play, and he's speared a pass onto the chest of Andrew Cracker. Swan District supporters want 50. Cracker to the defensive side of the centre square. Toomey's been pretty productive in this quarter, playing on ball pretty well. Gapin gets one in the back. It's going to go against Laurie, and you can hear the Swan District's supporters, Ryan. They think they've been hard done by not getting enough of the free kicks. In fact, they've had 20 to 13. Gapin with the footy. And just for the moment, struggling for options. So he kicks it to space at centre-half forward. That was the right option because Robinson ran into that space, gives it to Canelio. He's already got 2 goals. He's now got 3. What a young star he is of the future. But more importantly, for those Swan District supporters and their club, he is starring today.
Well, what a great inclusion for this side here. His just ability up forward, his work rate's been excellent. He reads the game very well, gets himself in dangerous positions. That there, you could see that his teammate was going to take him out. He just ran through on the fly, got front and square with easy handball, and finished truly. So very important player now he is in the context of this game. Gapin is now getting himself into the game and is being very dangerous, and I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden Bo Wilkes finds himself being dragged back into the back half to match on him, play on him again, because at the moment he's really having an impact on this game.
He's a real star of the future, Canelio. He had 26 disposals in the losing second semi for Swans. The umpire has been put down inadvertently in the middle there as Shammer went high with a left footer, and now a free kick going the way of Cracker being held.
No one on the mark.
Yep, so Andrew Cracker will run on. He's got players outside. He chooses the furthest option in Pierce. Pierce now goes to Hanson on the lead. It clears him in the pocket. Walters
had it spent.
Yeah, he was working ahead of the play there. His mind was working ahead of what he's going to do when he gathered it, and he didn't. 11-point lead to Swans. Crowd getting towards 25,000, the best in the last 8 years for a WAFL Grand Final. In front, Ruck wins it down. Chance for Swans. Gapin from his knees, a hand pass forward. Brown ran into Hanson. In the end, Laurie is forced to concede. A hand pass forced behind.
Well, you can just sense, Ryan, that Swan Districts just feel that they have got Claremont under pressure at the moment, and they're thriving in this situation. Laurie's kick, a searchy one, looking for Foster, couldn't take the mark. Support at ground level from Mitchell. From a step, kicks it up towards the wing. Ninette is there and takes a very clever mark. Riggio was the one he had to beat. Ninette just bounces to his feet. Good shepherd there from Neitz, and Ninette can run and can run. Now he steadies with a short little pass looking for Ian Richardson. Paul Richardson with him. Play on calls the umpire. Richardson wins the day. Well, one or the other was going to. It was Paul Richardson. Went to Clancy Pearce. His hand pass not good. Goes to ground. Here's Richardson. This is Ian Richardson for Claremont. Fires a hand pass on to Neitz. He's at right half forward. They need a big mark down here as Spencer gets to the front of the contest, and the ever so reliable Talon Ames has taken the saving mark. Delivers by left boot to Cornelio. Almost still at full back, really between full back and centre half back. I think he's played on. The umpire says yes you have. Goes with a short pass and finds Cracker. Might get 50. No, he won't. The umpire giving Ruck the benefit of the doubt. As Ruck ran into the rover, and what a rover. Andrew Cracker, Sandover medalist. He could be only half an hour or so away from a Simpson as well. Riggio on the end of his pass. He finds Clancy Pearce. Swan District starting to find teammates now with better delivery. All right, full stretch, and taking a good mark there was Roach. Close to the boundary line. Comes inboard to Hinkley. To Clancy Pearce. Mitchell giving chase, but Pearce, a powerful kick right up to full forward. Backing back was Gapin, and he's taken a great mark. The mark of the grand final so far. It required a lot of courage. And Tim Gapin. I don't know what the umpire's going on about there, Ryan.
No, there's a bit of push and shove happening around the mark there.
Here it is from another angle. Hansen flew, but Gapin was a second grab in the end, but he controlled it on the second grab all the way down. Bo Wilkes has come onto the ground. He may well be going to Gapin. Gapin gets his second. And as Ryan said, he is really coming to the fore, been a superb player all year. A quiet first half. But what he does is he works so hard and runs himself into the ground. And as we could see, then he's got a lot of courage.
He has indeed. It was a great mark. Swans all of a sudden are now hitting targets. They're getting a lot of freed up players through the midfield, and their run's been excellent. Their overlapping run. They're cutting the lines. Great mark there. Will, no doubt at this stage, mark of the day. It has to be something spectacular. And there it is. Bo Wilkes has now made the long walk down from the interchange to pick up Gapin, because he's had a big influence in this game in the third quarter.
The biggest three-quarter time deficit that has ever been run down in a grand finals, 21 points when East Fremantle overcame Swans some 45 years ago. Mitchell with it, hand pass away, taken there by Starling, gets it over the top. Bit of indecision by Laurie, evades the tackle and feeds it back to Mitchell. At centre half forward, short, Richardson takes the grab. They need a steadier here, the Tigers. They haven't kicked the goal in the last 20 minutes. Richardson hooks it out wide. Shammer, don't always like his finish, but he gets it there. Shammer drills it home for his first. And Claremont end the 20-minute goal drought in the third term to get back to within 12 points.
And more importantly, end a 4-goal streak by Swan Districts. Franz has been, I think, good for Claremont this quarter. Richardson's been on and off the ground. Interesting, he's a goal scorer. To go back and then pass it, to me, it sort of gives a little bit of a feeling that there's a bit of nerves in the Claremont camp all of a sudden. But then again, you could say it's an unselfish play to kick it to his teammate. And Shammer didn't let the Claremont boys down by kicking truly.
Well, he certainly looked positive as he ran in and made no mistake about it. Very important centre clearance, this one. Bounce favours Derricks. He got a hand to it. Now he does his own roving and peels a hand pass off to Shammer, to Chidsey, to Foster. He could hear a player coming at him, so he got the hand pass off to Swift. He was dispossessed, maybe tried to do a little bit too much. Blackwell on the end of his hand pass. Long hand pass, Blackwell. Here's a chance now for Crawford. Run down by Ames, but he gets the kick away and drills it. Well, 2 quick goals to Claremont. This game is a long way from being over. Just 27 minutes now in the third quarter, and the Tigers are coming again. Just 1 goal in the 2010 grand final.
Yeah, and again, another relatively easy centre break for Claremont. Tom Swift there, I thought he'd overdone it, and Swans should have tried to hold him up, but they just couldn't get a hand on. Good handball there over the top to Crawford. Held on to it quite long, and I thought Talon Ames had just done enough to put him off his kick, and it's got through. 2 quick goals by Claremont, and again the lead's back to 6 points to Swan Districts.
Only once in history have scores been level at three-quarter time in a WAFL grand final. It was way back in 1918. Can the Tigers pinch a late one here and replicate that? Hand pass goes away then from Chidsey. Kick forward by Shammer again. Bounce will be important. Back there, Jetta couldn't gather. Richardson on his knees, fires out a hand pass. Tracking back now, going over the footy ruck. Gives it off to Blackwell. Blackwell deep to the pocket, in front, down there, Ninyet. Good spoil from behind. Put away with the fist of Richardson over the line. A throw in deep, but left full forward for the Tigers. A goal to level it up potentially at the last change. The ruck work to be done down there by Ruck, along with Spanderman. Spanderman from behind wins it down at the front. Spencer, hand pass over the top. They probably want it to go out. Swans it won't. Swift receives it from Ruck. Pulled off his disposal. Richardson's kick drifting across the goal mouth. Walters lucky not to infringe Chidsey front on. And a throw in now in the right full forward pocket as Swans defence under siege in the dying seconds of the third quarter.
David Crawford was on then too for the shorter pass, but obviously the player didn't see him. Boundary throw in, Spanderman from behind. Riggio at the front of the pack takes the crumbs. Hand passes intelligently to Walters. Usually uses the ball well. Spears a pass along the boundary line, and it pitches only just centimetres inside the field of play. It was intended for Robinson. So boundary throw in. 29 minutes have gone. Spanderman and Derricks. Derricks has had a very good quarter. Got it down to Swift. Here's Jess Laurie on centre wing beneath the scoreboard. The kick wasn't attractive, but Wilkes has time to pick it up off the turf. Goes to Walton. Another hand pass to Brown right at the front of the centre square. Brown goes into the pocket. Was there a push? The umpire says no. Mark to Jetta. Sends the ball out wide. Walters has been sent into defensive duties. He now goes on to the, looking for the chest there of Davis. Too easily went to the ground. Losing his footing could be costly because Laurie's there. Hand pass to Blackwell. Lovely sidestep. Short pass looking for Richardson. The second Richardson came into the action. No mark now aims from ground level. Taken off him by Ian Richardson. Hand passes to Crawford. Snaps on goal and misses. Well, it was tailor-made for Crawford, a left footer. And in the end, probably not under as much pressure as he might have thought he was. Hurried kick into play. Here's an arm wrestle now between Walton and Hinkley. Coming into it now is Brown. Close to the boundary line, holding the ball, says the parochial Swan District's crowd. Cracker emerges, takes a bounce from half-back, short to Gape, and the ball goes past him. That will allow Rowe the chance to get a Shepherd now, and Rowe needed the Shepherd. Now he can turn defence into attack as he goes with a squaring pass and finds Shammer. He's got a loose player on the outer side underneath the scoreboard, and Claremont now can do some damage.
Jess Laurie, Rucker's free. He'll mark on 50, the big fella. Ninyet's calling for it in the goal square. He goes short at a Richardson. This might be the last kick of the term. We're about to hit the 31-minute mark. Richardson 1 goal 2. The angle you can see he's being put over the boundary line near the Eagles race. At right full forward at the city end, Simon McPhee dons the headset. He'll be down talking to them face to face in a moment. We hit the 31-minute mark as Richardson's boot hits the ball. Pretty good effort, but missing to the near side. And the normally dead-eye Dick Richardson, 1 goal 3. The margin, 4 points.
69 plays 65. So there really have been some let-offs at both ends of the ground. And in many respects, this third quarter has been played in 2 halves. Swan District's dominating the first half, and Claremont just with a surge at about the halfway mark as Pearce kicks the ball into play, finds Ames. Good searching kick now to Hinkley. He can run from half back. He's got plenty in the tank by the look of it. Needs a Shepherd. Gets one there from Toomey. Hinkley's kick, a poor one. Falls short of the intended mark in Hanson. Chopping it off was Starling. He goes defensive to Brown. Derricks. Brown ran out of room, but never panics, does Andrew Brown. Gets the hand pass off to Blackwell. Oh, good kick, flaring it wide to Rowe, who's got space on the wing. Rowe gets the kick away ahead of the intended smother. Into the pocket, and Talon Ames. Well, he was really manning up closely there on Foster, and Ames has taken a saving mark. Has played a mighty game in defence today, Talon Ames. There's the siren. 3/4 time in the 2010 Grand Final, and Swan Districts, the underdogs coming into the game, taking a 4-point lead into the final change. They're 9-15 to Claremont 9-11.
We're gonna make it feel alright, feel alright.
Well, both teams with their opportunity in that third quarter. They each kicked 4 goals, 5. So we are where we were at half-time. A 4-point margin to the team in most people's eyes seen as the underdog here coming into the 2010 Grand Final. It has been a thrilling game thus far. And as far as the Tigers are concerned, they're looking to become the 19th team in the history of the WAFL Grand Final to win the game coming from behind at three-quarter time. And a margin of 4 points, you wouldn't put it past them. But this is going to be an exhilarating and pulsating final quarter, Ryan, to decide the champions. The two best teams easily in the home and away, and nothing separating, well, less than a goal at the last change.
Oh, it's been a great 3 quarters of hard-fought football, a lot of pressure put on the ball carrier, which is what Swans had to do from the get-go. They had to put a lot of pressure on the midfield. You know, Blackwell was well held. That quarter got into the game a bit more. But the interesting thing is that Swans kicked 4 goals, but Claremont are able to quickly pile goals on. You know, their ascendancy at the centre breaks or at the centre stoppages are just phenomenal. They're killing them out of the centre square, and it's just giving their forward line every opportunity to quickly get those goals. And Swans, they can't protect the lead. It's only 4 points. They've just got to keep at it and at it and at it and just play that hard football. Can they sustain it? That's the real question now.
Well, Claremont do have fresh legs. They've had the fortnight off. Let's look at the goal scorers too. Three-quarter time here in the 2010 WAFL Grand Final. Leading the charge is the 16-year-old Stephen Canelio, who may be half an hour away from becoming the second youngest premiership player since records were kept in regard to ages. He's 16 years of age, and he'll only be beaten by Jeff Hendricks, who won as a 16-year-old but a few days younger in 1975 for West Perth. Gapin coming into the game in that quarter, 2 goals. Chidsey getting the first goal of each half for the Tigers. So we have a look at some of the leading possession winners. Shammer has been prominent. Richardson, his only problem has been his finishing there. 1 goal, 3. Mitchell has been lively, so too Walton. Swift, 17 disposals. Blackwell, 18. So came into the game probably from about the midway point of that quarter. And Chidsey, as we mentioned, getting the first goal of each half in the match. For Swan Districts, Cracker 29, and if the team wins, you would think he will be the Simpson and Sandover medalist of 2010. Hansen, 1 goal, 3. He's been held to just the 7 kicks and 10 disposals in total. Roach, 16, and the skipper Roberts, 17, 12 of which have been by hand. The aggregate statistics with a quarter remaining in the season, and you can see still it's 33 more disposals for Claremont. The 1 more mark, the centre breaks, as Ryan said, 17-4. That's a massive landslide. 42-34, the inside 50s, and yet it's Swans who are in front. Let's go down and listen first of all to the Swans huddle with former skipper in there, in Adam and Matthew Carr.
Just keep your heads going in this last quarter. This is what you work for all season now, to give yourselves this opportunity. Panda, just jump into him, mate, and bring him down close, okay? Let's get the ball going forward. Don't think when you're sitting back that you're doing the right thing. Push up to him and force a contest. Force him to kick long. And then
cool and calm there, Matthew Carr, getting confused with Adam Langler, said he was a former skipper, but Josh Roberts also in there, the current day skipper to the left of shot there, and he's also got a bit to say. Not far away from the huddle is Rod Willett. Rod, it's there for Swans to surprise everyone if they can find enough run in their legs in the last term.
Well, they won't surprise everyone, Glenn, but they'll surprise a few, and they've certainly battled their heart out, and you know, it's not much going into this last quarter difference between these two sides, and there's been nothing all day. One thing that Matty Carr did stress, he said, we've got to get better at centre breaks and contested ball around the ground. He said they're smashing us more around the contest than they have all day. We've got to lock them down. I think also what they need to do is they've got to stop that run that Claremont have. They love to turn it back into the middle. They love to get their runners into the game. They need to stop that if Swans are actually going to go back into a couple of other things that might come down to the wire. Brian Dawson's last game, we know he's had a big influence at the club over the last few years. He's like a bit of a father to some of these boys. And the other thing also, the break that Claremont had, will that give them more legs to run out this last quarter?
Thanks a lot, Rod. Let's have a look at young Stephen Canelio. He doesn't turn 17 until December, and he obviously likes the big occasion. 26 disposals in the second semi against Claremont in a losing team, but 3 very good goals this afternoon, Ryan.
Yeah, look, he's been the real X factor for Swan Districts, and you need that going into a grand final and even a final series. I haven't paid much attention to him. I mean, he's only played a handful of games, so to watch him play really for the first time, he's an exciting machine, and no doubt there's, AFL talent scouts here really writing down his name, because he's certainly put his hand up to say, I want to step up to the next level. For him, I hope he has another big last quarter to finish off what has been a good game for himself.
Well, he can't get drafted this year, but safe to say he'll be playing in Swans League team from round 1 next season, and most likely will be the state under-18 captain, you'd have to think, when they go to the national championships under coach Brad Wirra next season. There he is, some zinc cream across the nose, but what a moment. He may be half an hour away from becoming, since records have been kept on ages of players in grand finals, the second youngest in history to have a premiership medallion draped around his neck. Let's go down boundary side. Simon McPhee is with Todd Ridley.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Macca, how's the heart feeling? Great game so far.
Oh, yeah, it is a good game. It's a close game, and, I guess we expected the two best teams of the year, and now our blokes know they don't give these games away, so we'll have to work right to the end.
And Bo Wilkes back on to Gapin. He got on top then, didn't he, Gapin?
Yeah, very good player, and we're just trying to make sure that we've got our rotations right. We're keeping our players fresh, so we're hoping we've got enough in the tank to get it done.
Well, you had the week off last week, fresh legs. What was your last message to the boys for the year?
Get the job done.
Good message, Macca. Well done, good luck.
Well, it could be a remarkable finish to the season for the top two. If Swans were to win here, they each will have won 2 matches against the other and drawn the 5th. So it shows you there's not much between both of them. The last quarter of the season underway. Ruckman didn't get a hand on it. Spanderman did at the second attempt, and then he fell into the back almost to Brabazon. And another ball up in the middle. The crowd, 24,635, the best since 2002. And when you consider that Claremont isn't normally a big drawing side, that's a terrific turnout. Picture perfect day to culminate the season. Simpson ran past the footy. Roberts applies the shepherd on Mitchell. The ball dribbles free. Simpson socketed forward. Walters off to Cracker. 51 out. No one in the goal square. And the Sandover Medal kicks it. It's his second goal. And it extends Swans' lead 45 seconds into the last quarter to double figures.
And what they were saying in the huddle there when we were listening to him was get the ball going forward, and that's all they did. It was a little toe poke that got it to Swans' advantage, and Cracker was able to seize the moment, get his hands on the ball, sidestep a Claremont opponent, and this time kick truly. So awesome start by Swans in the last quarter.
Yes, they couldn't have wanted a better start, because it's really given them something of a fill up. The players with that early goal will know that it's just going to put a little bit more lead in the legs of the Tigers' legs. As umpire Hendry slams the ball into the turf. Derricks and Spanderman. Spanderman on the second attempt. Cracker tries to hack the ball out of mid-air. Now he goes to ground and hand passes it forward. That's what they were under instructions to do. Spanderman cleverly to Toomey. He's the one that drives it up towards Hanson at full stretch. It was Franz who got the punch away. Now Walters close to the boundary line. Kept it in play, but only for Andrew Brown now, who can clear it and switch play from pocket to pocket and find Rowe at left full back for the Tigers. Maybe committed now to the southern side, as Rowe may have to kick to a contest. He puts it up high. Not a bad contest, because Derricks is there, a big tall man. Flying in front of him was Cracker, and unfortunately for Swan Districts, they had the numbers 2-1 and gave away the free kick.
Yeah, just a little bit of undisciplined play there by Lane Spanderman.
Derricks, who has been very good for Claremont, urges players to run at him. He stabs it then over the head of Crawford. Nignette's hand pass missed the mark. Diving effort. Swan District's player has gone down. Hinkley's in there. Crawford tried to knock it forward. Couldn't get past Ames. Cracker puts his head down. Comes up with the footy. Hand pass to Roach. Roach to the call of Roberts. Roberts cool under pressure. Now hand passes to Pierce. Has got time to steady. Popped the ball into the arms of Cracker. He's at right half back.
When was the last time, if Swans lose, when was the last time a losing player won the Simpson Medal?
1985.
Brian Taylor, yeah, I remember playing in that game. Tails won it amid a lot of despair. It was only 4 or 5 points, I think, as Shammer had it momentarily. Dispossessed. Spanderman tried to get a hand pass through traffic. Now it's knocked out by Blackwell. Brabazon was met solidly. Davis is taken down in the tackle. Coughs the ball up to Laurie. He clears the area with a hand pass to Swift. Left boot. Not a particularly tidy kick. Nignette and Jetta. Been a sterling duel between those two. Jetta, can he prevail again? Almost getting into the back of him was Nignette. Have we got a whistle? We haven't. Well, we might get one in a minute. We're going to have to. And it's going to be a ball in. I thought Ninette may have just got into the back of Graham Jetta, but it'll be a boundary throw in at left half forward for the Tigers.
Tigers will be looking to strike on the scoreboard. Well, they've got it here inside their 50 to counter the goal at the other end in the opening minute from Cracker. Ruck won it down. Now Toomey, a very high kick. Running back with the flight is Starling, and he takes a courageous mark. Davis was coming the other way. Told he's got to play on now, Starling. Short along the boundary line, the mark to Rowe. Ian Rowe's cribbed inboard. Gets around the lunge of Davis. Now goes long. It'll land in the shadows 20 metres out. Riggio launches. Big fist. Spills to Ruck. Check side to full forward. Chidsey marks and gets his third. Well, he's got the first goal of each half. And now Claremont's first of the third quarter. And we're back to a 4-point split in the grand final.
Well, he could become the hero of Claremont if they get up. Swans did everything righty. They got their fist on the ball, they punched it forward, but Chidsey just fell off the back of the pack, and luck's of fortune, the kick just went straight to him. No one near him, easy goal, and all of a sudden again we're back to 6 points.
Yep, in back to 4. It was 4 at half time, 4 at three-quarter times. Now it's 4 points, 4 and three-quarter minutes into the final term. And just a slight delay in play. I'm just wondering what umpire Statham was looking at, but shielding his eyes, looking to the western end. He's got the footy now and about to restart play. These centre clearances, absolutely vital. Spanderman opposed to Ruck. Good ball up. Test of strength between the two. Cracker comes in, puts it onto his boot, but the ball doesn't travel more than 5 metres in the end. The ball knocked away from Spanderman. Toomey, can he control the foot? He does with a hand pass to Wolfenden. Wolfenden loops another hand pass to Jetta, who finds a gap and goes for it. He pops the ball up for Spanderman, who's marked it in the middle of the ground. Lane Spanderman will go long and straight down the corridor. Hanson pushing, shoving. Wilkes is there and puts a fist into it. Toward the boundary line it goes and over. We'll see a boundary throw in left half forward flank for Swan Districts. Well, Ryan, it's going to go to the wire. And what did I say to you before the game? My prediction was what?
Yeah, it would be absolutely amazing if that's the case, but both sides deserve to win this at
time, I said. Ruck double hands it down to the front of the pack. Wolfenden had it, releases it back into the pack. And now the umpire will come in and ball it up. Umpire Craig Hendry. There's Andrew Ruck and Josh Roberts, the last two up.
Thanks, Josh.
Well, it's hard to say that one of these sides deserves to win more than the other. They both had stellar seasons. As the umpire bounces it, Spanderman on the way down. Gapin fists it further afield. Starling gets back there for Claremont and then falls over. And in falling over was taken high. He's a bit lucky. Only got the high tackle, I think, because he tripped himself. And now umpire Statham puts him around behind his mark.
Yes, he could have been pinged for holding it had he not just got one over the shoulder. He flirts with the boundary, but Blackwell marks. He's been a better player since about midway through that third quarter, at least more conspicuous. Blackwell along the 50-metre arc to Shammer. Shammer back to Blackwell. Now, there's not much for him in the centre square. He just goes as long as he can, and Ninette tests out the hamstrings late in the match. Takes the mark, adjacent to the centre circles. Calling for an out wide is Jess Laurie, formerly on Port Adelaide's books. No one on the mark. Walters is back peddling. So Laurie gains a few valuable metres, puts it into the path of Brabazon. Brabazon, 45 out, into the pocket and out of bounds on the bounce.
Good decision.
Ryan Brabazon not able to. Let's have a look. I think it might have bounced on the line. Yeah, it did.
Parry said good decision. It bounced on the line.
The whole ball has to be out, and it did a bit. Clipped it, Ames, third man up, double fists it down. Brabazon another chance, but his hand pass stolen off the deck by Cracker. His kick awkward for the big ruckman. That's gathered low down by Spanderman along the boundary line. Good mark by Gapin. In front of Wilkes. It's been an absorbing duel. Gapin goes towards Hanson well down the ground. Can't mark low down. Now applies the Shepherd. Simpson slings a hand pass forward. Davis beaten by the bounce and fell over to boot. Blackwell gives it to Walton. Back to Blackwell. So he's had about 4 disposals in the last 90 seconds or so. Luke Blackwell. Crawford in the middle of the ground. Claremont down by 4 points. The kick towards half forward. Walton turns around in the nick of time. Marks on 50. Surely he's played on. He goes inside 50. Foster up. Can't take the mark. Legal spoil from behind by Riggio. Wolfenden there. Goes after his own hand pass. Finds it in the end. And it will go towards the line. and be thrown in.
I just wonder, Ryan Davis, I think went to ground a bit too easily over there, Ryan, and I'm just... I think he might be just out on his feet.
Yeah, that's the second time he did that in the third quarter as well in a contested situation. Very easily went to ground.
Now there's a spare boot not far away from this boundary throw-in. Comes down towards Crawford. Couldn't get it onto his boot. Good pressure there by Swan Districts. Ames threw it onto his left boot. Roach is there with a chance. He might have been ridden into the ground in the back. No, play on's the call. Brabazon picks it up. Foster a chance. Couldn't take it cleanly. Now he goes to ground. Riggio in the pocket under pressure. Gives it to Spencer. Fires a hand pass out to Ames. He does likewise. Now Wolfenden. Can he find a target? Hugging the boundary line. Gaping, great effort. Sliding on his knees and takes the mark. What's he got forward of him? There's not a lot, so he goes short and sideways to find Roach, who says, just hold up, boys. I'm going to switch play here. He takes a bounce and gets a hand pass off to Casserly. Another one to Cornelio. The young man's got some pace. Good pick up by Hinckley. Back to Cornelio. Hand pass goes to Casserly. Spins into a tackle, but it gets the hand pass away. It was an errant one. It went to Brabazon. He now fires one out to Shammer. Shammer with plenty in his tank. Has got a couple of bounces. Out onto the southern wing. Goes by left boot. Out in front of the net. And that was well delivered in the end and well played by Claremont. They've run the ball across the ground and really have run Swan Districts hard.
10 minutes in, only a goal in each end of the ground in 10 minutes, so scores hard to come by.
Laurie, a searching kick, finds Anderson. He goes short, and Wilkes has taken it, shaped up to hand pass. Now he's told to play on. He goes into the pocket. Swift has run into the pocket and is on the end of the short pass by Wilkes. So Tom Swift can go back and shoot at goal. And this one, it's not a terribly difficult shot there from there, Ryan.
No, not at all, and no doubt there'll be a lot of Claremont supporters down there because that's the race they came out from. So in front of their members would be a huge uplifting goal for Claremont.
The pressure is on. You wouldn't know it from looking at Tom Swift.
3 goals, 2 in his 10 games at WAFL level this season.
So not a great history with goal kicking, but he's made a pretty good fist of this one. Tom Swift, that's it. If he's only kicked 4, Glenn, that's one of his very, very best. He's gone back when he needed to show some real composure, steered it through and given Claremont the lead.
And they've kicked the last 2 goals, and you know, games, ebbs and flows in games of football, and all of a sudden now the flow's gone back to Claremont. Swans, they've got the ball, they're getting their hands on the ball across the half back line, but then getting nowhere going into the forward 50. They look up, Hansen's covered by Franz. There's no small players around offering a second target. Gapin's having to come up the ground a fair way, so they just need to really get a run on, and unfortunately for them, they've played that extra final. How much run have they got in their legs?
Good figures there, 20 disposals, 10 kicks, 10 handballs for the Eagle, Tom Swift. Ruck wins it down, Walton there, can't get away with it cleanly, gets it in the end, bounces a kick into the body of Pearce, Quicksilver hand pass to Cracker, likewise to Hinckley. Hinckley out wide, it'll land in advance of the lead of Hansen. He bats it down, now relieves the pressure with a hand pass to Hinckley, back in some space. He puts them inside 50, now 3 Tigers near the fall, and one of them is Starling, who takes the grab. He'll kick towards centre-half back. It wasn't 15. So Blackwell back to Starling. He gives it to an unattended Brown, the acting skipper, with the injured Rutherford heartbreakingly missing the grand final. 2 bounces beyond 50 for Brown. Along the northern wing. Well done, Wolfenden. Floated in between 2 pairs of players to take the mark, and he finds who else but Cracker.
Cracker now still up on centre wing, needs to find a target. The last couple of sorties forward, Swan Districts just haven't had the manpower up forward as Casserly comes off the ground, and with nothing else on offer, Cracker goes short to the man who gave it to him. Wolfenden's kick falls just short of Gapin. Now he coughs the footy up again. Starling may have got one in the back. The umpire says play on. Stevenson is there. Hand passes to Brown. He does likewise to Wilkes. Under pressure. Floats one very, very high. 2 wide. It's gone over the line and out of bounds as Bo Wilkes shields his eyes from the sun. Free kick going the way of Spanderman. The umpire's called him to play on, so Spanderman will have to go long. It's a good-looking kick. They need a big marking player down there. Hansen flew but couldn't take it. Now there's a chance for Cornelio, the youngster with a bit of toe into the pocket. Delivers a little bit too low. On the half volley, Gapin. Oh, steadies. Short pass taken by Cracker. Take about Tim Gapin. Well, he could have blazed away, but he saw Cracker there. on his non-preferred side, and he just put it down beautifully onto his left boot and delivered to Cracker, who didn't let him down.
And this will be his 38th disposal.
38th disposal. Comes in, kicks the goal. Cracker's now got 3 goals, 2 in this final quarter. Swan Districts have the lead back.
And, you know, the cream rises to the top, and Andrew Cracker has just been excellent. Gapin in the second half's been excellent. You know, their better players are standing up for Swans. What a great game of football. You know, there's no clear winner at all at this stage. It could go the other way very quickly, and we've seen that in the past in this game. Claremont kicking a quick goal, so this centre break's vitally important for Swan Districts' final hope, premiership hopes. They've got to get it deep in their forward line and just keep it down there and bottle it up.
Official crowd being posted on the board, 24,638, the biggest in 8 years. Cracker loves the big occasion this season. Twice he's kicked 4 goals in a game against Claremont, and now he's got 3 in this one. Derek's won it down. Roach has an arm pinned. He got a kick away of sorts. Over the footy is Swift. Slings out a hand pass. Starling knocks it down. Mitchell knocks it further afield. Gets a fickle bounce. Roach there. That was almost a throw. Good tackle then on Stevenson by Wolfenden. And a ball up near the player interchange. A metre or so from the boundary on the northern wing. See the desperation there. Wolfenden, brilliant tackle. Ball bounced. Roberts from his knees to the ruckman Spanderman. Spanderman's kick loops near the boundary line. Walters did everything but take the mark. Starling too long. Way too long, and Gapin pinged him. He's got the free. Gapin sets it towards centre half forward. Here comes Hansen. Ash Hansen this afternoon has kicked 1 goal, 3 with 2 of those behinds cannonning into the goalpost. You see Gapin set it up. Hansen had to come from a long way back to work his way in front, and a very acrobatic and clever mark. Can he calibrate the rangefinder from 53 metres? No. He sets it off to the right, and dear oh dear, 1 goal, 4 for Ash Hansen to give Swans a 5-point lead nearing the 16-minute mark of the last term.
Well, they want to take us to the wire as Anderson plays on out of the goal square and makes 40 valuable metres, finishes off his game with a good pass to Mitchell. Now he gives it to the running Swift. He drives the ball to the half-forward line. Ninette's got plenty of toe. Oh, he's met solidly there by Richardson. Ninette is down and maybe out. And so too Jetta. In fact, he may have come off worse.
A head clash, I think.
Ninette and Jetta. Now the umpire has told the boundary umpire.
They're getting the mouth guard out of Jetta's mouth as quickly as they can.
Yeah, Ninette seems to be.
Stretcher called for Jetta. I think it's a clash of heads, Phil.
Yep. We may be able to have a look at it. You can see Ninette worse for wear. Well, worse than that is Graham Jetta. They've had no hesitation in calling for the stretcher. So Ninette will come off.
Yep, straight away, one of the trainers, if not the doctor, got him on this side. Oh, that's frightening. And Jetta, straight away, they made sure the mouth guard was out of his throat. He was unconscious. And very luckily, Tempers didn't flare beyond a little bit of a push and a shove.
He's trying to get up at the moment, Glenn. He's actually trying to physically get himself off the ground. They've just put the neck brace on him. He's very, very groggy. But he's certainly played with some great courage, and he's been a fantastic player today.
Well, come what may, that is the end of his grand final, because once you go off on a stretch, you're off for 20 minutes, and we're beyond the 17-minute mark. I don't think he'd be well enough to come back anyway, but the Swans fans urging their team on. They'll wait until the stretcher actually gets into the race. It's a great view here, 24,600, the best turnout since 2002 for a WAFL grand final. And those that have paid to come in, mainly Swans fans, have got their money's worth as the stretcher disappears from view down the race, and it will be a boundary throw-in at right half forward for Claremont, who trail by 5 points, 18 minutes gone.
Boundary throw-in comes down to the back of the pack, taken there by Cracker, who gets his boot into it, but it deflects into open space. Walters runs into the space and shows great courage, gets to his feet. The umpire blows the whistle and blows time. He'll sort all this out with a bounce. Well, what a grand final, Ryan. It's been a wonderful season of footy, dominated by these two sides, and it's really fitting that it should have this sort of conclusion. Great crowd, everyone on the edge of their seats. Ball up, comes down toward Riggio. Spanderman couldn't control it. Richardson got it out. I think it was Swift who, in fact, it was Neitz. It was touched through. The players haven't heard it, but it was touched off the boot. And it's behind only. It was an early call by the umpire, but not many of the players heard it as Pierce goes short, finds Roach just ahead of the fist of Brabazon. What's he done there? He's kicked the ball looking there for Riggio, and it's gone straight past him. Well, the pressure is on, and you really need to pay the percentages at a time like that. They could ill afford to put the ball back into dispute, but that's what's happened.
Jared Nanette ready to come back on too, Phil.
That's quite remarkable. So he's recovered well. Ruck down to Foster, throws it onto his right boot. A high one, a big tack in the goal square. It's bounced through, or was it touched? I don't think so. Goal is going to be registered to Claremont.
Talon Ames is furious.
Foster kicked the goal. I'm not sure it wasn't touched. I had the glasses on it.
Well, Ames is being pushed away from the field umpire by Matt Spencer to save giving away a free kick. Now they're pointing at the defenders are pointing at the screen. It looks like to mine that Casserly actually got a hand on that.
Well, you really don't want to see.
Ames was so... Oh, he's hit it. That ball has definitely changed in flight. Casserly has got a fist on that. Talon Ames at the top of the screen knew that, and he ran straight at the field umpire.
Here's another angle. You can see Casserly reaching out, and it looks as though it's come off his forearm.
From the shot looking down the ground, you could see the ball deflect. But they won't overturn it. Back in the middle, it's been bounced, and Cracker kicks Swans towards half forward. Bounces over heads. Stevenson from centre half back goes looking for the man who got the dubious goal, Foster. He could get another. Riggio's fallen over. Foster, one bounce, gets to 50 metres. Long on goal. No doubt about that one. Foster. The first was dubious. The second was class.
You mentioned it, class, game-breaking goal, that one there, to quickly get 2 goals in a row and all of a sudden have Swan Districts on the back foot, who have been manful and been in front for the majority of the game. Will hopefully not break their spirits. But good goal here, good composure by Foster, took a bounce, steadied, and then kicked a great goal.
Well, that is a handy break now for Claremont. Andrew Foster's stunning season continues. 44 goals, 7. And he celebrated that one, as you'd expect. We're into time on in the 2010 Grand Final. And the margin stands at 8 points to the good of Claremont. Spanderman back over his head. Big pack over the footy on the outer side. And we'll have a ball up.
Need to get this ball going forward, Swans. They just got to manufacture a kick to get it out of the congested area into their forward 50.
Derricks wins it down. Brabazon dives at the footy. Chance in there for Starling. He runs into a brick wall. Mitchell there. In fact, it's Walton. He's held up. Another ball up. 22 minutes gone in the grand final. Claremont will be looking to keep manufacturing these stoppages. Simon McPhee with the headset on. Roberts. Can't get the ball away. It's stolen off him by Walton in the end, like a thief in the night. Kicks it off the side of the boot. The bounce important. Richardson of Swans outdoes Richardson of Claremont by hand to Hinkley. To the former Richmond Tiger in Roach. Looping over the top to Ames. Ames gets Richardson airborne. Hand pass to Riggio. Cool head to the 16-year-old. And away goes Cornelio. Takes a bounce. Looking for options. Hand passes into the square. Roach has it. Hanson the target. Hanson drops it. Toomey off his chest. Gets the spillage. Shoots on goals, and Gapin has marked it left full forward. Tim Gapin can kick his third and reduce the margin to just 2 points. In he goes and punches it home. 2 points the margin. 23 minutes travel in the last quarter of the 2010 Grand Final.
And well done by Swans there. They got it going forward. That man in Cornelio, again involved in the play, carried the lines, got a handball into the corridor, which just then opens up the goal face for Swans. Quick kick over the top. There's the handball there to the runner coming through. Good contest here by Hanson, and perfect front and square by Toomey. Quick kick over the top. There's nothing that Bo Wilkes could do there. Gapin tracked the ball, ran and kicked to an easy chest mark, and kick, probably not the most convincing kick on goal, but snuck it through, and we're back to 2 points.
So Gapin's got 3. Ball bounced, crooked, but both ruckmen had a decent attempt, so no recall. Tracking the ball, Blackwell, he shinned it the wrong way, so too did Toomey. Cracker can't gather it, Starling fighting for it. Roberts tried to shovel it out. It ends up with Stevenson of the Tigers. He hacks it with the left boot, came off on the bounce. Mitchell, the hand pass out to Laurie. Laurie kicks into the shadows at left half forward for Claremont. The ball comes backward on the bounce, not far in from the boundary line. Almost a push in the back, I would have thought, against Ames. Now Rowe gave it off by hand for Claremont. Quick kick forward by Crawford. Can Chidsey get his 4th? Running into the pocket, pulls it back and misses to the near side. 3-2 to the former Shark in Nick Chidsey. The margin out to 3 points. The kick into play, marked by Riggio, the former North Melbourne player who played 1 senior game with Peel before being recruited to the AFL by the Kangaroos. Not a good kick, just got over the fingertips though of Richardson. Spanderman cool, gives it to Toomey. He loves to run. Goes the full 15 metres. Hansen again the target. Again he can't mark. Has the better of Franz on the recovery. Goes inside 50. Cracker. The Sandover medalist plays on to the 16-year-old. And Stephen Cornelio could put his side in front with his 4th goal in a grand final at the age of 16 years. 279 days.
And Glenn, this will test this young man's composure. I mean, this is a position where every player in the youth dreams of kicking possibly the winning goal.
Cornelio, 25 out, he's kicked 4, and he hugs the Sandover medalist, Cracker, who fed the ball to him. And Swans are back in front, 3 points the margin, 25 and a half minutes into the last turn.
And Cracker's mark, what a great mark. It was a one he had to get his hands on. He gets off his mark quickly, looks up. Cornelio runs into the space. He actually hesitated before that. He stopped next to Cracker thinking, well, I'll let Cracker, or Cracker will go back and have a shot, and then realised there was space in front of him, led to that open area, and goes back and kicks his 4th goal. That young man there is a player to watch next year in the WAFL. He has been outstanding this game for Swan Districts.
Well, if there is a next goal in this game, it will be the goal that wins it, either for Claremont or Swans, an unassailable lead. Shocking bounce, and we'll go through it again. 26 and a bit minutes gone.
Interesting, Cracker's gone deep forward. I would have probably kept him on the ball.
Tossed up, 1 down by Spanderman. Ruck gets it, hurried check side. Crawford and Ames. Ames with the fist. Trying to crash through there was Chidsey, couldn't gather it. Hand pass goes away then from Pearce. Slung out again by Swans. High tackle. Claremont have got the free at centre half forward to Crawford. The man infringing, they can hardly watch, the spectators, was an ungainly and off-balance Ryan Davis. Crawford is a long kick of the footy. He won't make the distance, but he'll put pressure on the defence. He almost makes the distance. In fact, he did, but missed to the left. The margin, 2 points. That was a thumping kick late in the game with tired legs.
You'd be thinking that this kick will go long and wide to...
so he goes short and wide.
Short and wide. I got the wide right.
Well, it's a tougher prospect perhaps kicking in than kicking on goal late. You don't want to miss the target. He went to Toomey, and Toomey goes back to Riggio. Riggio short, the mark to Pearce.
Claremont have set up a zone, which I'm not sure whether it's the right thing to do. They need to go man on man to create a contested ball.
Security guards in the background are ringing the perimeter. Deep in time on. Mark Pay. Paid to Cornelio despite the late lunge by Mitchell. 27 and a half gone. Swans holding a paper-thin 2-point lead.
Oh, no.
He goes to Roach, fell over. Blackwell, the runner-up in the Sandover. Long to the goal line. Toomey back. It's a 1-point margin.
Phil Lamb could be on the money here. He's 1 point away from his prediction coming true.
Well, he might have to come back upstairs because he's gone down ready for the presentations, and we might have extra time. 28 minutes gone. Toomey goes for width. It's going to go out on the full. Walters hands to it, wrong side of the line. Stevenson the free. Can Claremont manufacture a mark? In fact, Stevenson
Forced to give the ball off to Rowe, who was closest. He goes long. Swans need to spoil. Big lead, big mark. Crawford has marked it. David Crawford, who was away from Claremont, travelling the world last year, is back with the club, and he may come back and win them the grand final.
What a great mark. Swans had Hansen down there. They had everyone down there.
David Crawford has played in Claremont's last 3 grand finals. They've all been losses. The clock hits 29 minutes. David Crawford lining up for his second. And the Tigers are back in front by 5 points.
David Crawford, you've just taken the mark of your life and kicked the goal of your life. Unreal, under enormous pressure there. There were Swans players converging from all directions. He just wenched hard at the ball. You can see there's Hansen coming across. They had them all there. They all misread it. Crawford just had his eyes on it and took a great mark, kicked a goal. Swans have pushed, Claremont have pushed players all behind the ball. They've got everyone pretty much behind the ball, and if not, on the half-forward line. So they're going to try and defend their 5-point lead.
Both teams had their runners out there circulating, no doubt feeding the players the remaining time left in the match. There's David Crawford in his 132nd game. There's what they're playing for. It's going to be awarded shortly, Rod.
Yeah, the Premiership Cup, it's only just been brought down. There's only a couple of minutes to go. They haven't put names on yet because it's too close. It's a beauty.
Mitchell over the footy. Has it held to him, does he? The umpire says he'll ball it up. Cornelio, the youngster, laying the tackle. There's Brian Dawson, seconds away from ending his coaching career. Will it be a premiership or recall? And that is good umpiring. Not the bounce, but the decision to recall it. Claremont by 5 points, beyond 30 minutes. Ruck, a deft little tap down, and Blackwell taken to ground.
And that's all Claremont want to do, just little taps, keep it close to the ruckman's feet, and just bottle it up.
Claremont interchange. Look at the nerves on the boundary line. Going up high, Wolfenden knocks it down. Cracker taps it away. Claremont leave it behind through Rowe. Still an opportunity for Swans, but they can't get it clear. Another bounce. 60 metres from their goal. 31 minutes gone.
Swans have got to get the third man up and knock it out of this contested area.
Comes down to Toomey, bounces off his chest. In the centre square. Traps it, turns into Swift, loses the footy, Wolfenden over it, Claremont over him. Another break in play. Beyond 31 minutes. Claremont fans urging the Tigers to lock it up. Blackwell with it, loses it, diving in on top of it, Richardson. Hand pass to Wilkes, he spills it. Cracker is there, tackled the ground. Ball still in dispute, another bounce. Almost on Swans' 50-metre arc.
Straight up, boys, straight up.
Fans with hearts in their throats. Ball bounced. Swatted down forward by Spanderman.
That's in danger.
Kicking in danger. Going against Swans. Claremont looked to get a quick kick, but no advantage. Claremont, now Swans need to man up here. They've got to each grab a man because Claremont will go in any direction here to find a free player.
Spanderman's got it. He's loose at the moment on nobody. He's got to come across and man someone up.
Can you believe it? The man who's earned the free kick is the man that kicked what could be the winning goal. Crawford's in the last line of defence, and he was the man that had the kicking in danger go in his favour. There's Neitz with his back to the ball. 32 and a half gone.
All the Claremont players are signalling to the southern wing to just kick it there because they're trying to just create a massive contest there.
Crawford goes in that direction. No one can mark. Chance for Cornelio, the 16-year-old. Hand pass over the top. With it is Roach. Almost fell over. Hand pass is now off to Toomey. Toomey off the outside of the boot. Swans must mark. Well done. Knocked down by Stevenson. Cracker gathers, shoots, and Swans have won the grand final. 33 minutes gone, and with his 4th goal, surely Cracker has given Swans their first flag in 20 years.
And now all of a sudden the Swans players are pushing down. They're going to push everyone down the other side of the square, bottling it up. This has been the most amazing WAFL Grand Final I've seen for a long, long time. Cracker, you're an absolute champion at WAFL level, and I hope he gets another chance. He's turned his life around and his career around in the space of a one short season, and that is just an outstanding goal.
The clock at 33:40. For the third time this season, Cracker has kicked 4 goals against the minor premiers Claremont. One down by Ruck. Almost did his own roving. In fact, he soccers it square. Cornelio looking to find a kind bounce. With him, Shammer. Shammer wins the day. Has his back to goal. Holding the ball. Tackled by Hanson. And that's surely Dawson on his feet. Brian Dawson in the coach's box. There's no advantage. The ball must come back. Beyond 34 minutes. The biggest crowd in 8 years to see a WAFL Grand Final. And Brian Dawson beseeching his team to slow things down.
There's nothing he can do here. He's just got to watch it, get the message out, maybe to keep it down along the boundary line, do nothing silly.
Shammer on the mark. Hanson will go 35 metres backwards. The mark to Riggio. Riggio can go back inside 50 if he wants. He goes short. Oh, the target here, Pearce fell over. Claremont a chance. Dragged back in by Pearce. Needs to get it out. Hanson pulled off his kick. Where's the siren, the Swans fans are saying? 35 minutes gone.
Now the Swans bench, everyone's up, and the Claremont players are sitting down on their bench.
There it is. Swans have ended a 20-year drought, knocking off the minor premier by 1 solitary point. Brian Dawson ends his coaching career. It lasted just 3 years, and it ends with a WAFL League Premiership.
Glenn, that was just the most amazing WAFL Grand Final, and my hearts go out to the Claremont boys. They've been the side of the year. They've been outstanding all year. There's Nicholas Natanui celebrating. He's got his arm in a sling with his Swan District's teammates. But the Claremont guys, they've given it all. They've been the best side all year, but there's only one game that counts, and this is today's game. And Swan Districts have done it. They've come through to win by the solitary point. An amazing game of football by an amazing bunch of players, and well done to Brian Dawson in his last game at Swan Districts. He's a champion bloke and gets the opportunity to now put his name down as a premiership coach.
The highs and lows of sport. Claremont players devastated. Brian Dawson with spring in his step. Caps off a remarkable 3-year coaching reign. A grand final in 2008 in year 1. A final series last year, and a flag in his last game at the helm with work commitments taking him away next year. Andrew Cracker consoling some vanquished team opponents. That one, Bo Wilkes. But what a match. So many things to talk about. 16-year-old Stephen Cornelio, the second youngest player in history to win a premiership medallion, and he was the equal high scorer in the game with the Sandover medalist Cracker with 4 goals each. And Cracker, well, surely he is going to get a Simpson medal in the week that he got a Sandover. There's the Claremont team. David Crawford in the background. We thought he'd kicked the winning goal. Byron Shamano's Luke Blackwell, runner-up in the Sandover. He was beaten by 8 votes in the Sandover and 1 point in the grand final.
What do you think, Glenn, the best grand final you've seen?
Easily. The previous best was the 2-point win by Claremont over East Perth in '96.
Yes.
When Lane Spencer at the CBN took a mark, but in the dying seconds. But this is the best grand final I've seen in my 21 years of calling it with the ABC. And thankfully we've had the best turnout in 8 years. But the scenes, you couldn't get a bigger dichotomy. The Claremont players completely flattened by the result. And Swans still with their hearts pumping. Scotty Cummings there, the former Coleman medalist in the AFL for the Eagles.